But the bell's already been rung, and they've heard it. But in the dark, among the stars, they know that God is dead.
Yeah. So now let me change from a lyric to spit. Just like we didn't change SNYDER's vision to shit. This man has no clue about DC Comics. And man, what the hell was the Superman's lit? I can't even watch it. It's such a disgrace. I really wish Shoes would punch shots in the face.
Yo, what's up, everybody? Happy Sunday. Welcome to SNYDER Ave. It's your boy Ill Life. Sorry I'm a little late. My computer was kind of just like shitting the bed on me as I was trying to like get in and everything. Everything was going real slow for some reason when I first logged my computer up. So sorry about that, everyone. But yeah, so let me get my panel in here because they've been waiting for me too. Got Austin from Pop Culture.
Yeah. What's up, man? What's up?
For the first time on, Brian, Minister of None.
Hey, man, what's going on?
Yeah. Oh, is this a preview of the
oh yeah, he's gonna be on the smoke out too. Yeah, definitely. And my man Phil over here.
What's up,
everybody? What's up?
What's up, man?
And I believe is that Enosh I see down there too. There he is. Yeah. And of course, none other than Enosh from the Poindexter's Land.
Rock and roll, man. Rock and roll.
How's everybody doing?
Good, man.
Good. Yeah. Nice.
Oh, wait. Hold on, one more too. A regular Neil, first timer too.
Yeah.
Hey, what's up, bud?
What's going on? Oh, wait, there we go.
What
are you doing? You fingering my hand? What are you doing?
Fingering my finger? What are you doing?
E.T. phone home.
E.T. phone. What?
E.T. phone home. Yeah.
Ow.
Gosh.
Oh god.
Which I just before I even got into anything, I just wanted to ask: anybody else here have you watched the Wu-Tang An American Saga on Hulu? It's like actors playing Wu-Tang when they first met, and it's like the RZA story, how he put them together and everything. Dude, it's incredible. The second season just started. That's why I was asking. The first 4 episodes of the second season have dropped, and the show is incredible. I was just wanted to give it a plug out of love. I didn't know if any of you guys had seen it too, or were into it or anything, but it's really good. But so what I wanted to do for tonight, I'm sure as you guys saw on the thumbnail, is you know what? Hold on, wait. Let me go through the chat. I always forget about the chat. I'm sorry, guys. I'm still getting used to this. Let's see who all is in here. Go back to the top here.
I actually took a nap.
You too, huh? I took one too.
Yeah.
Me too. Yeah. I was actually watching Amazing Spider-Man, and I ended up at the very end, right when the dad gets killed. I ended up falling asleep. Like,
I see the movie.
What's up, Ryan? What's going on?
I might have to go
Baby
back
girl, how you doing? Dr. Fate, what's up? How you doing? Nice to see you here. Cal, what's going on? What's up, Lucas? They really need to make this thing easier, like scrolling through this thing. Like, you should just be able to like hit the down arrow. You know what I mean? Like, and have it scene. Like that would make it so much easier. You know, what's up, Paul? How's it going, man?
Especially when you have drops. Too many drops.
Dark Star.
I wouldn't know about that. No, you know.
I'm still trying to put those together.
Was that a little jab there? Or
I hit my limit.
I'm still trying to put them together to even have them in the first place.
There's a limit of 100. I hit 100.
Oh no! You know what you do? You know what you do? You just create another brand. You just create another brand. You can create multiple brands, and each brand can hold 100.
Oh well, fantastic.
How do you think I have like 300 drops? I literally have a whole new world for Neil. He's like, whoa!
It's a whole new world.
Oh wait, so you can actually set them up on the side, like you don't have to do them.
If you have different shows,
like,
if you have different shows, you can put different logos, you can put different pictures, you can put different everything in there. Why do you think I'm always sometimes at the end of my show, like after I showed a certain clip, I'm trying to get back to my first one because I keep forgetting to put my closer thing in like all of them so I can close from any tab. So I have to keep going back to the first tab and then closing out the show.
You're like scrolling. All right, good night.
Like, I'll be there in a minute. Hold on. We'll close the show in a second. People are like, just end it.
I've been starting to like screen record stuff, on my phone.
Oh, heck yeah.
Like, it's that way I can like, chop it up and put it together. But I still haven't learned how I'm going to put it into there yet. So that's good.
Tell you what, man, TikTok. It's a virtual breeding ground for crazy and insane drops. Every time somebody's like, where did you get that freaking drop from of like people like doing weird things that's TikTok. Treasure
I'm on it like because of my music distributor. Like, and I've never even found myself. Like, I never understood it really, TikTok. Like, I just kind of gave up on it in the very beginning.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'd have to like download it and like look through it and shit. Like, but yeah, so anyway, like I was saying, like what I want to do for the topic tonight is favorite 80s movies, right? Was my first one. And when I say favorite 80s movies, I mean like I'm not talking like just the typical, you know what I mean? I'm talking like the ones that like you really would like if you had to pick 3 to rewatch. Like what would be your, you know what I mean? Like that type of thing. And then I figure we all go around the horn with that. And then guilty pleasures. But when I say guilty pleasures, I was more like thinking guilty pleasures in terms of your circle, in terms of like, you know what I mean? How you would be judged by our people, your people, whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like to nerd standards, kind of, as far as guilty pleasures go, not just like typical guilty pleasures in the sense of, oh, I love this romantic comedy, that's a girl movie, but I, you know what I mean? Like I'm more in the sense of like, like for mine, like, well, I'll get into that later, but let me do the 80s movies first. Because I think my 80s movies are unique in the sense that like, I love Breakfast Club like everybody else, but like I actually grew up in the 80s, so like I have some certain like gems to me that like really stuck with me since I was a kid and like still to this day. Like I have DVDs of them sitting here, you know what I mean? Because I ordered them off Amazon and shit, like just to have copies of them. And one of them that's like huge for me is Tough Turf. I don't know if anybody's familiar with that one. It might have been like James Spader's first role. Like first
okay.
And Robert Downey Jr. is in it too. It's very young Robert Downey Jr.
I know exactly which one you're referring to.
Oh, it's great. It's basically the whole premise is that James Spader is like I think he's from like Ohio or Cleveland, Cleveland, someplace not California, not LA, and something happens that he gets in trouble with the cops or something. But they kind of make it obvious that he's like a good guy and maybe he was sticking up for someone and got a bad rap or something like that. He's like that type of personality type character, and him and his dad moved to LA and he like he like is riding his bike around the neighborhood and shit and like ends up liking this chick, Frankie, that like her boyfriend's like the bad gang, basically, like it's typical 80s like greasers and you know what I mean type of thing, but like set in like at downtown LA type. And Robert Downey Jr. is like his best friend that is like the drummer in the band, and there's like this whole warehouse party scene and stuff where like Robert Downey Jr. is playing drums in the band. And the funny thing is, fun fact about that too, if you go back and watch that scene, if you end up looking the movie up, the band that's playing that Robert Downey Jr. is the pretend drummer for, it's actually Jim Carroll is the singer on stage, and that's the band. And Jim Carroll is the dude that Leonardo DiCaprio plays, and it's his life story in Basketball Diaries. Mm-hmm. If you've ever seen Basketball Diaries, it's just a fun fact, like because he actually was a musician in a band and everything. Like they were big at one time. But yeah, so and it's just like the whole thing's like James Spader ends up having to like fight his way through the gang and stop the bad guys and get the girl by the end type of story, but it's like it's just really cool really authentic of the time type of, you know what I mean? Like metal about it, you know, like 80s metal, 80s glam rock metal type of atmosphere about it. You know, it's like I just really loved it as a kid and I still love it to this day. I think it's a great one. And The Wraith, anybody familiar with The Wraith?
Is it
Charlie Sheen?
That's Charlie Sheen with the car, right?
With the car, yes. Yeah.
Yeah, he's okay. I remember
that's
that.
another one. It's like favorite of mine that like I still to this day I watch it a lot. Like I go back and watch it a lot because the car scenes alone in that movie are like the one scene because what it's about is like he's a dude that like the bad gang guys that all drive race cars out in this Arizona town and go around like basically pirating people's cars. When they come through town with a nice car, they force them to drag race them and take their pinks. And the leader dude, Packard of the gang, likes the chick that the guy's going out with, Charlie Sheen's character, before he becomes Charlie Sheen, because Charlie Sheen's like the ghost him basically after he comes back to life, but the gang guys like kill him. And he tries to like force her to be his girlfriend, basically. But then Charlie Sheen's like his ghost come back with the car, with the Wraith. And he keeps getting them to drag racing them and like murdering all the guys that murdered him one by one throughout the story. You know what I mean? But the race scenes are like so fucking badass and like none of it's CGI. Like it was all real shots with real cars back then and shit. You know what I mean? And, you know, the music was like, I'm pretty sure a couple of the songs, like the one, it was like, it's like the second guy he race murders. The songs like No Surrender, I believe. And I think it's like the same people that do a couple of the songs on the Transformers animated movie soundtrack. You know, it's like all has that type of sound that like, and it's real badass, fast paced, you know, and it's just like, I love that one. And if I would recommend it for anybody to go back and like see a true gem of the 80s and its time, because it was like it had all that going on, but it also had like the sci-fi superhero element, like The Crow type of thing going on, you know what I mean? Like that made it cool. And that was definitely like a thing for Charlie Sheen. Was young at the time. Like I don't think he had done anything that big yet or anything, you know, like and that
was before Ferris Bueller, right? That movie?
I think so.
Definitely, yeah.
Because he had that one shot in Ferris Bueller where he was actually hammered when he did that.
Yeah. I mean, he's definitely a little older in that, but he still has that same look, like in the character, you know. I mean, but I'll tell you what, when you see him in The Wraith, there's almost like an innocence to him that, you know, he hasn't gone to a certain point of life yet or something, you know what I mean? Like it's great, it's funny, like, and then what was my third one? I had a good third one too. I'm trying to think. Less Than Zero. Anybody familiar with Less Than Zero?
I'm very familiar with that movie. That's James Spader, Robert Downey Jr.
It's
essentially Robert Downey Jr.'s life before he became Iron Man.
Yeah, it's crazy. Yes, he gets very like strung out on a coke and everything, or crack, or whatever, you know. And, but it was really cool too, because it was like it was kind of like this movie that like took like the Brat Pack people and threw them into like this realistic, fucked up, like Oliver Stone scenario. You know,
it's like, imagine if Oliver Stone wrote a story about kids doing crack in Beverly Hills. And
if like the kids from the Breakfast Club were like, and like, because it's like they're all friends from high school that grew up, and like one of them goes off to like go to school to be a lawyer or whatever. The other one becomes a junkie and the other one becomes the dealer, kind of thing, you know, like, and then it's like they all come back as adults and you see where they're at in life type of thing. And like Robert Downey Jr.'s character is like the fucked up, like it was a really good part for Robert Downey Jr. I think, you know what I mean? Like, you know, it was a breakout role for him compared to what he was doing previous to that. Like, and then Breakfast Club is definitely like up there, you know, but I just feel like it's too typical. You know, I was trying to get to the root of ones that weren't as typical, you know, that I really loved and shit.
Yeah.
But, so anybody want to go next? or anybody got any comments about mine? Either way, like
I love that you brought the Wraith up. Crap,
dude, I love it. I'm pretty sure it's free on YouTube right now too. Honestly,
oh my God.
I saw it the other day. Like,
I remember seeing it as a kid on like when they used to put it on Channel 11 on like Saturday afternoons at like 12 noon. There'd always be like that afternoon.
Yeah, well, that's how I first discovered it too. Yeah,
and I'm like, what is this? You know, like
Afternoon matinee. It was always some weird movie.
Man,
remember the dudes like the Scudder and whatever boy, and they're like drinking the antifreeze and shit.
It's so funny.
Like I'm tweaking, man.
Yeah. Like the 80s like stereotype stuff that goes
like
on.
over,
It's hard. It's hardcore. It's like wow, hits you in the face. But it was it is one of those like movies that you just have. That's like a guilty pleasure movie in a way.
But I'll tell you what, I think it's like it definitely gets overlooked in the sense of like for the time, like whoever shot all the car scenes in that movie.
Yeah, everything was all practical.
It's incredible. Like if you really go back and watch like how they do like they make those race scenes stretch out for like a while for like a car scene. And you're just seeing shots of the same two cars, like getting close to the other one and shit like that. And you're not even seeing the drivers really or nothing. Yeah. And they make it intense. They make it like you're like, oh, like what's gonna like, oh, is he gonna wipe out? You know, like they make it like you're locked onto it. You know, the way they shot it. Like
80s had a lot of gold, man. It's just a tough one.
Definitely, yeah.
To pick three, I'm like, damn.
Yeah, I mean, the 1980s is just full of an entire decade of filmmaking. That's just, not even, you can name three of just any different kind of circles. I mean, just to name a couple like big name ones, you've got Empire, any of the Star Wars film, like Empire and Return of the Jedi. You've got, how many of the Rocky movies? You've got Indiana Jones, like.
Aliens.
Yeah. I'm not really huge on Aliens. I prefer the first one, but yeah, I get the sentiment.
Well, I guess for this, I was more thinking outside of those, out of like the franchise. You know what I mean? Like thinking like of singular.
Right, you want to go a little more obscure, right?
Yeah, like singular
movies. Obscure.
Yeah,
okay.
that stuck out to you, stuck with you. You know what I mean?
Buckaroo Banzai stuck out.
That's another good
man,
one.
that's a good one. Yeah,
that was a good one.
Yeah, that's awesome, man.
That was a good one. And then Real Genius always stuck out to me too. I don't know if anybody remembers Real Genius. That's with with Kilmer. He's like it's like a comedy. He's in college. You guys remember Real Genius or no?
Oh yeah, I do. Okay, yeah.
Just remember the big popcorn scene at the end.
So the one I thought of is actually getting a sequel now, Twins with Danny DeVito and Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Triplets. He's coming, yeah. That's right.
Yep.
Oh God.
Did John Hughes write that? Did John Hughes write that?
You know what?
Right?
Let me look. That one.
Does anybody remember the last Starfield?
You know, that's kind of what inspired me to do this, because last week I was watching Ambassador stream, and he was talking about all the John Hughes movies, and then it got me on an 80s kick, like after I was on his stream. Like,
Twins is Ivan Reitman.
Oh, okay. Yeah, okay. Ivan Reitman. But no, for me, it was I really kind of fell in love with them. Not so much in the 80s, because I was born in 83. So by the time the 80s were done, I was 6. I like the Canon films. Like,
oh, okay.
The actual company Canon.
So you like Masters of the Universe?
Oh, love Masters of the Universe with Dolph Lundgren. That was actually I wrote that down as like one of my favorite movies. Like that was like one of my ultimate movies from the 80s. I also like the Van Damme movies, Bloodsport, Kickboxer. Anything from that. You had the Chuck Norris, like Invasion USA, all those kick-ass movies. You know, the Charles Bronsons. Like so many movies came out of that like fly-by-night production, as it were. Like
that was probably, like that you brought it out. It's probably like a lot of the ninja movies that I used to like from back in the day came from Canon.
Like Revenge of the Ninja.
Yeah, there was like American Ninja. There was like all these like interesting, and they always had like the same actors, but they play different characters sometimes.
Yeah, and then like they're renowned for like American Ninja some of the worst trailers, like some of the worst made movies like of all time, and they're just like make fun of them hella bad. It's like, oh man.
Superman: A Quest for Peace was a Canon film, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, it was.
So, and Shri, yes, Honey, I Shrunk the Kids is in fact an 80s movie.
Was it? Yeah, I wasn't sure.
Yep.
Yeah, I was
man.
The first one.
I did like that movie.
I actually just watched Lady Hawk last night. That's funny. The Richard Donner film. Yeah.
Nice. So a couple of movies that stand out to me that I remember from my childhood that I probably had no business watching. Here's a Burt Reynolds one for you. Sharky's Revenge.
Which one?
Revenge.
Sharky's Revenge.
Sharky's Revenge. All I remember about that movie, really, from being a kid, was that Burt Reynolds got his fingers cut off.
Nice.
Like it took me much later in life to rewatch that movie again and realize, leaving a child at 4 or 5 years old, like, unattended to with free HBO at the place we were staying. I mean, it was good too. That's where I saw Wrath of Khan for the first time. Wait a minute.
Say that one more time. Free HBO. Holy shit! How old are we?
I know, right?
Oh man,
I was living in Vegas at the time, and right there.
I remember when HBO didn't exist yet.
Right? Yeah.
Those are the days.
For Austin, man, I was living right at basically right where the government buildings are right now. It used to be Fantasy Park when I was growing up. Right, it was right across the street from Fantasy Park, and it's like Las Vegas Boulevard and Washington, like right there.
Okay,
so
yeah,
so the place is still there that I stayed with my mom. It was like these little studio apartments, and I showed my family this last year when we went back out there. I showed them. I was like, I was surprised the place was still standing. But it was. And but like lots of first, they're watching movies for the first time. But like Sharky's Revenge, crazy, revenge movie. What other movie like I loved is Silver Bullet.
Mm-hmm.
Silver Bullet, Stephen King's Silver Bullet, man. I just think that movie is just awesome. I look, it's got some cheesy moments in it, but it's got what was it? What's his name? Is that Nick Nolte that's in that movie, or is it? Or is it what's his name? There's the two that I always mix up: Nick Nolte and
Gary Busey.
Gary Busey. No, it's Gary Busey. It's Gary Busey. It is Gary Busey. But Gary Busey's in that movie. What's his name from? He was the one of the Coreys. Not Corey Feldman, but Corey Haim. Corey Haim was the kid. Was the kid in that movie? And man, just a creepy movie altogether. And then another werewolf movie is American Werewolf in London.
Okay.
I mean, come on,
Mr. John Landis, right?
Come on. I mean, that movie is so good to this day. Like, there's parts of that movie that just freak me out. And of course, that's another movie that I had no business seeing at 4 or 5 years old. But fantastic film. Fantastic. There's no wonder that I was scared of werewolves, man, until I was like 12. Right?
Did you ever watch Teen Wolf, man?
Right? No, I watched it. And even like that was like that's the cheesy werewolf. Actually, speaking of Teen Wolf, do you remember when there was the Teen Wolf TV show on Fox? Remember when Fox was like bringing back like all these like it didn't like Bill and Ted had a TV show. Like Weird Science had a TV show. Weird Science had a TV show. Was that USA? Okay, well, I just remember like it was like, but like Fox had a lot of them too. That like they just kept like punching out these old 80s TV shows as sitcoms, and it was funny because I remember when they did the one for Teen Wolf, it scared the crap. Do you remember the TV show, the actual TV show Werewolf? It was about a dude, like he had a pentagram like on his hand, and he would go town to town trying to solve mysteries and stuff like that because he was actually a good guy, but he would turn into a werewolf and like take out the bad guys in town or whatever. So like I would watch that show, and that show would freak me out too, and I was scared to death of werewolves. Well, here's the thing: when they were doing the promo stuff for the Teen Wolf TV show, Fox did it all serious like, and all they showed was like this wolf logo. And I'll never forget. They're like, "What's that sound outside? What's that clawing at the side of the house? Could it be a werewolf?" And I was like, "It's freaking 1 a.m, and I'm here in the dark in my bedroom, and I'm like 12, 10, 11, like, it scared the crap out of me.
Oh, heck no.
The trailer voices in the 80s were the best. Oh, my God.
In a world where a man wears a San Francisco 49ers hat and sits on the internet talking about Star Trek, another man sits in Vegas with his white headphones on, looking over to the side even though no one's really there, next to a guy in a Boba Fett hat with another guy in a black hat that's trying to finger his hand from across 2 states.
And then you hear like a
while a
piano.
guy named Parker, the unfiltered, laughs hysterically with sunglasses on inside the house. Coming this fall, Ill Life and his crazy friends, right here on YouTube.
Clipped.
That was pretty great. That was really good. Yeah.
No effects either, baby.
That was
No
great.
effects, man. Just straight up. No bass added, no nothing, man. Just no presence, just raw, unfiltered. Speaking of cold filtered Miller Lite. Oh wait, the cold filtered was Coors, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think so.
Cold filtered Coors. When you have the option to drink piss or Coors, please pick Coors.
That was good. That was good.
No, that's it. That's just a couple. I mean, there's all the other 80s movies, right? That I mean are out there. Like we've already talked about this, but like those were just a couple. Okay, one more, and I know it's everybody's like everybody loves the movie, but it doesn't get enough credit. Like even now to this day, the freaking Never-Ending Story.
Oh, good. You said one I wasn't gonna say because I have another one that people are gonna lose their shit over.
Yeah, Never-Ending Story, man. I love the Never-Ending Story. Loved it from the first time I ever saw it. So.
I mean, shit. I don't want to name all the popular ones. I mean, did anybody ever watch The Toxic Crusader?
Yes,
I've heard of it.
Yeah, I did actually.
Oh boy,
Trauma.
More R-rated things that turned into cartoons for kids.
Oh god,
The Toxic Crusaders.
I don't know how the hell that ever. I don't know how I got to watch that. There was, no different than you. I just be like, "Yo, Dad, can I rent that?" Yeah, go ahead.
It's like, what are we watching? Are we watching like the after 11 o'clock showings of shows on HBO and Cinemax, or are we watching Saturday morning cartoons? Here's Rambo, The Toxic Crusaders, RoboCop. Like,
RoboCop. Dude, they had RoboCop toys for kids. I watched that movie the other day. I'm like,
yo,
this movie's not for kids.
Remember the toys? They came with the cap straps, right? And you put the cap strap in there, and you click it, and it would shoot the gun. And I used to love that smell as a kid. Like,
oh yeah.
Oh, the cap smell. Yeah.
Yeah, it would come with the red strip and the black. And
yes, kids will never know.
The revolver. Man. Oh man.
Yes.
I saw one of those revolvers in like an antique store because me and Tiff, we go to all these like resale shops, stuff like that, and I found one in there, and they wanted like $60 for it.
Yo,
and I was just like,
no.
God, no, I can't justify $60 on an old cap gun, but
no, don't do it.
And it was the black one with like the gray spindle in it.
That looks real. Yeah. Like we had them where everybody's playing guns and shooting each other. Now, if you do that, you're like, no.
Your guns are gonna make you want to go out and kill somebody. Well, then, man, I was freaking Scarface over here, man. Like I literally had like I had a bag full of guns, and when we played guns, man, I had Uzis and shotguns.
You would play guns.
Yes, you want to come? Hey, Neil, you want to come over and play guns?
Yeah, let's go.
All right, let's go and play guns. Mom, nowadays, people be on there. I heard some kids talking about they were going to play guns, officer. Can you please come over and send somebody right away?
They're going to have a shootout. Oh my God.
They said they got like 15 kids, and they're just going to roam the neighborhood with their guns.
Something about capture the flag? I don't know, but it sounds bad.
We'd be running through apartment hallways, up and down stairs, people running out. What are you doing?
We played hockey in the street, man.
All the time.
That was fun. I missed
that.
That was more like Wayne's World and like Mighty Ducks. Like after Mighty Ducks came out, it was like everybody wanted to play freaking hockey.
Yeah.
So I grew up on a 5-acre property. Me and my brother had a giant fort built out of wood and a bunch of other shit in like our back pasture and back field and shit, right? So one day we're up in like our second story because it was a 2-story fort, right? Like myself, my brother, and my grandpa built it and shit. But anyway, we call 2 of my friends over. They both go to our front door. Me and my brother are sitting up there with our BB gun sniper rifles. And we were terrible kids. Let's just put it that way.
Yeah, no, we used to do that quite a bit. I'd go out to the country and we'd shoot BB guns and line up cans and stuff like that. That was good times, man. Yeah, good times. Well, we were in the woods, so it really didn't matter,
I used to catch lightning bugs with my Ghostbuster trap. thought they acted like they were ghosts.
I'd be surprised if anyone put Ghostbusters on
You
your
know, the
list.
one that was you had the one that stepped, you pumped. It was like a pumping action. It would open up and crap.
No, that's for an '80s movie right there, Ghostbusters.
Maybe
not the second one so much, but the first one was kick-ass.
First one,
Loved it.
The second one was epic because I saw it in the movies for me. So I was like, as a kid, I'm like, when I saw the first one, it came out in '84. So when I
used to watch the Saturday morning cartoon a lot. I remember that.
That's how it started for me. Yeah, the real Ghostbusters.
Mm-hmm.
Ryan, I thought of you tonight. I almost bought something for you, but I couldn't verify the size of it. It's a USS Enterprise 1701.
Oh, nice.
On top of this base that's a San Francisco Giants baseball.
What? Dude, that's awesome.
And I looked at the price and I was like, well, okay, I'm trying to decide like how big this thing is. Like apparently it was a giveaway, but it said it's like a bobblehead, but the way that they photographed it made it look like it was huge. So like I was trying to figure out like if it was actually of some size or if it was like, like dinky, you know what I mean? Like, cause the way that they filmed it. So I was like trying to justify like spending that much money on something because I didn't want to just like get this little dinky thing and be like, here you go, Brian. It's cool, but
no, dude, that's awesome though.
But no, I saw this thing and I was like, oh my gosh, if there was ever a collectible that like they were on the horn and they were like, hey, we're gonna make a collectible specifically for Brian.
Yeah.
What should we make it? I don't know, maybe a Starship Enterprise on a San Francisco Giants baseball.
Yeah, slap the 49er logo on there. It's made in heaven.
Just draw it on there.
Sign me
little
up.
transferable tattoo right on the side of the baseball there.
There you go,
That's
man.
funny.
There you go.
Oh,
that's awesome.
Play rehab. I'm not allowed to buy anything.
Ill Life has left the building.
He has. I think he was going to restart his computer.
Yeah, he had to reset.
Computer issues.
Yeah, he should be able to just come back into the StreamYard and take over.
I mean, we didn't even talk about Stripes. Stripes was one of my favorites.
Oh man, wow. I love Stripes.
Really love Stripes. And it was funny, like, because I was a big Ghostbusters fan. So anytime like I saw any of those guys in other movies, I'm like, I have to watch this movie. So that's how I go on to What About Bob? All
Groundhog Day,
Caddyshack's,
Groundhog Day.
Groundhog's Day. Keep it going. Let's see. Like The Hand That Rocks the Cradle. I watched that movie because Ernie Hudson, I believe, was in it, if I remember correctly. He was one of like the major characters in it.
What year was that movie? What the hell? The movie with Chevy Chase.
Chevy Chase was like the man in the 80s. Spies Like Us.
Yeah.
Dan Aykroyd.
I love Spies Like
right? For a minute, and then all of a sudden he became an old grumpy man and hates everything and everybody.
Yes. Oh my god!
Right?
But apparently that's how he always was. Like if you listen to people who were on Saturday Night Live, everybody hated Chevy Chase, man.
Yeah.
So
apparently he had an attitude.
Stuff you don't know.
Well, all the vacation movies, like all the National Lampoons movies, like everybody.
Thank God it kept going. Thanks, guys.
Ill Life was almost lost in the multiverse. Which one did we get back?
I couldn't hear you guys. Like, I guess my audio interface crapped out on me or something. I don't know.
Oh, man.
Weird. So I said twins first. I think the second film I'm going to go with is Flight of the Navigator.
Remember that.
That's sitting on my shelf, too. I only grabbed these two because they were in my list, but I have Flight of the Navigator sitting over there, too, in the collection.
Yeah, that's one that I have fond memories
That's funny.
of.
That's actually something that I'm going to be talking about because I plan on doing a stream later, but that's actually something they're doing a reboot.
They're doing a reboot with Bryce Dallas Howard.
Really? I can see that being good because it's Disney, so it's their property.
Well, also it's going to give us great fodder for the Fandom Minutes because they're gender swapping it for a girl now. So they're taking away my Flight of the Navigator. No, not my Flight of the Navigator.
What
it's the most important thing in my life.
Watch. It's going to be
to be completely honest, the kid that was in the original was kind of unisex.
Well, they won't bring Pee Wee Herman back. They won't bring Paul Rubens back to do the voice, but it'll probably be like what's her name from Lena Dunham. Parts. It'll be Lena Dunham, and it'll just be like compliance. Oh, you would like me to comply with your male ways, wouldn't you? But I will not. I'll move my penis out of the way for no one. Compliance. This.
Oh man. Oh man.
Oh man,
the Pee Wee Herman voice is one of the best parts. It's like I love that part, dude. I saw that in the movies. Like,
is it Pee Wee's Big Adventure in the 80s movie?
Yes.
Yeah.
I believe so.
Yeah, that's oof.
That's
Yeah.
another. You take an R-rated thing.
I got fond memories of that one too.
The Alamo.
That's another thing. You take kind of an R-rated thing like that, and you know, you got Pee-wee's Playhouse out of it, and that's what everybody remembered him for until you know.
Dude, even Pee-wee's Playhouse still had so many undertones that were getting overlooked. That, like, I mean, dude, the genie was like, "Mecca like a high, Mecca hiney hole."
He's either remembered as Pee Wee Herman, the dude in the theater, or the father of the penguin.
Oh, that's right.
I don't know.
Or
To
let's
me,
not
to
forget,
me,
what was
he's like
that?
Pee-wee. Like,
He was the sphincter in that movie when he does the farting. Come on. Oh, the hero is like a spoof hero movie. Son of a bitch.
It's not League of Extraordinary Gentlemen. The
Mystery Men.
Mystery Man.
Thank you, Brian.
Yes.
That's it.
He's like, you want to see me take these guys out?
Oh my God, that movie. That's a '90s movie, but that movie.
I know.
Isn't William H. Macy in that? He's the shoveler, isn't he?
Shoveler.
Yes. He's the spleen.
Shovel.
I think he's called the spleen, right,
yeah.
Neil?
Yeah. That's, I call him the
I
sphincter.
forgot he was in there, and I love
They had
that
the
movie.
original
Oh my
Smash
gosh.
Mouth song. They actually had the
Blue
video
Raja.
for that.
The Blue Raja. I throw forks.
Yeah.
The Blue Raja.
Oh, wasn't that from Simpsons?
But you're not blue.
Oh,
That's Hank Azaria.
Hank
But
Azaria.
you're not even blue. And then you got to love what's his name, because that was one of his early movies. Ben Stiller as what was he? He was
He was the angry guy. He's like,
yeah. I mean that was his power.
crazy.
He was like, you want to see me get angry? And he would just like get really super angry, and nothing would happen.
Always.
God, I love that movie. I own that movie. I got to go watch that movie, dude. We got to do a watch party of that movie. That's a fun film.
I would get drunk as shit and watch that movie with you guys. Yeah.
I want to
You know,
get.
I got all these
to go
movies,
on
man.
that.
I need to do more watch parties, man. Because like every time I'm on a stream, we're like, hey, we should do that. I'm like, I've got that movie. We should do a watch party of it on Twitch. And then I just like I forget about it, and and then stuff comes up.
Yeah, I'm really booting myself in the ass, promising myself to do these drunk watch parties or commentaries. Like my friend Craig and I, we do a Batman podcast called The Eternal Night, and he's like, "Hey, when are we going to do, Batman and Robin?" I was like, "If you make me do Batman and Robin, I am going to get so wine drunk so I can make it through that movie. It's not even funny."
That's a tough. But technically, it's like doing. If anybody ever watched Mystery Science Theater 3000 from back in the day,
Yeah,
even when they tried redoing it, you guys said Mac and Me. I think they did the Mac and Me on the new ones that they did on Netflix, and that was a funny ass one. But you can watch some old school movies that way and just rip them like they do. It's freaking great.
No, it's
Speaking
great,
of Mac and Me, are you guys fans of Conan O'Brien?
Yes.
Yeah.
So you guys know? Do you guys know about the ongoing joke that went on for like 20 years between
Him and Paul Rudd.
between him and Paul Rudd?
No.
It involves Mac and Me. That's why I asked, because
okay.
Paul Rudd started this thing like early in Conan's career. Yeah, Austin knows. It's amazing, and he even got him on his last week of
final
show.
Yeah.
Because Paul Rudd started this thing, and it didn't start off to be a big deal at all. He just came in and he was supposed to show a clip of his latest movie, and instead he showed the clip from Mac and Me where the kid's in the wheelchair and he goes off the cliff and he falls down, and everything, and then the head of Mac, pops up like this, whatever, and so like he shows that clip and he's not in that movie, right? He just showed that clip, and so like the crowd laughed and stuff, and then like in the same thing he goes, no, here's the real clip, and then it goes to the clip and it's the same clip over and over again, and so apparently it's real that for 20 years, every time Paul Rudd was on the Conan O'Brien show, he would bring that clip, but he would always tell them, no, really, it's the real clip this time from the movie. Like I'm here to, promote Avengers or whatever, right? And he was
that was the best one. Is he was there to promote Avengers? And he's like, all right, so I hear you have a clip from,
but it's going to be that clip.
Yes, it's, but and he's no, this is real. Like Marvel was serious. I got to show the clip. Blah blah. Nope, twice. It's the same Mac and Me.
There comes the Mac and Me thing, man, and he would get him every single time, and it was so awesome. And then they were talking about it because they had Brian Hader on. For his last episode, and they were talking stuff, and they were talking about him, and all of a sudden he just shows up in a tuxedo, and he's like, and they start talking about a thing that they did, like a skit that they did on Saturday Night Live when he was hosting, and Bill Hader was talking stuff, and all three of them are talking, because Conan used to write on Saturday Night Live, and so they're talking about this skit that like went horribly wrong and everything, and it's like, well, it was never seen because they cut it, and so all of a sudden he speaks up and he goes, Well, no, he's like, actually, he's like, I knew that, this was going to be, the first time that we've been together in a while. And so I actually brought that clip, and Conan's like, oh, whatever. And he's like, no, seriously, I brought that clip. He's like, because I wanted to show it because I knew that we'd be talking about it tonight. And so on his last show, he got Conan, and Conan, like, it was so funny because like, they just showed it like 3 or 4 times, man. It was fantastic. It's a great gag. Like, just look it up on YouTube. The whole Mac and Me,
Paul
gag.
Rudd.
Paul Rudd gag. It's so great. It's just a great running gag, and the fact that he did it for like 20 years is even better. Even better.
Astonishing.
I'll tell you what. Speaking of with the watch party thing, if I do get the smoke out stream thing together by Christmas season, we gotta
do the night before. The night before.
That's right. Yeah, that's what I was about to say. Yes, cool. Night before. Yeah, dude, it's so undervalued. Like, enough people haven't seen it. I always ask people, and I'm like, it's a Christmas classic now. Like, it really is. Like, it's so good. Like,
dude, Michael Shannon playing Seth Rogen's drug dealer is
the popular angel.
What?
Dude.
Yeah, Michael Shannon.
He's a popular angel.
Actor. Take shelter. Michael Shannon is selling weed to Seth Rogen in that movie.
Seth Rogen. Yeah, it's Seth Rogen, Falcon.
Anthony Mackie and
Joseph Gordon-Levitt. And they're 3 best friends.
Oh, that movie's hilarious. I like that movie.
It's so good, dude.
It's one of those style movies. Yeah, I know.
And Seth Rogen's about to have a baby, so the wife knows it's his last Christmas with his 2 best friends. They have a tradition that they go out every year, so she gives him this box as a present. Like, you've been so supportive of me, and I wanted to give you a good night. And he opens it, and it's like one of every drug that exists, basically. She like went on Craigslist. And then he's telling them later in the movie, like, none of these proportions are correct and shit. And he just keeps doing one after another. And he's like all whacked out on shrooms.
There's a scene where he's like literally talking to the nativity scene outside a Catholic church.
Yeah. And then, like, his in-laws' parents are like walking up the church, and he's like out in the nativity scene. It's fucking great.
No, you want to watch a movie that'll make you think you're on drugs? Watch Who Framed Roger Rabbit.
Great movie.
I
love that movie.
I've done that in a psychedelic state. I know what you're talking about.
Fantasia. I know a lot of people have not watched Fantasia fully through, and I watched Fantasia fully through, and Fantasia whacked the hell out.
I watched that all the way through as a child multiple times. That movie is trippy.
They're showing you like the evolution of life. You think you're watching like Mickey and stuff. No, Mickey's in like a part of it. That's it. The rest of it's whacked out animation.
The rest of it is
that movie used to scare the crap out of me as a kid, man. Like I still don't watch Fantasia, bro. Like
that's why I'm like,
those mobs are moving on their own, bro.
Pop whatever you want and get ready.
Chernobog pops up at the end. I haven't seen that movie in a while, but Chernobog pops up at the end, right? I think. The big giant bat Chernobog from the volcano.
The evolution of the dinosaurs at one point. You're in space, and you dude, I've never seen anything like that. And it came out in the 40s, and then like with the little weird shiny the light show that they're doing. At one point, you're watching like the first 20 minutes, and you're just watching a band. You're like, what the fuck is going on here?
I vaguely remember that. I haven't.
You put it on now, you'll just be like,
what the fuck?
I don't know what to do. Should I sit through this? Okay, I'm going to sit through because you're so intrigued to see what's going to go on next. Not saying that it's good either.
If you're a connoisseur of entertainment, it is definitely should be at least a once a watch. Watch it at least once, I think.
Yes. Definitely not something you have to go back and watch over and over and over again.
Exactly. No. Not like Titans.
Oh no!
He said it. He said it.
Let's not talk about Titans.
Yeah, I'm sorry. This week's episode sucked.
There it was.
I didn't think so. I enjoyed it, but
I liked it. It was all right.
This was the first one that I was like, oh no. They went back to season
I'm liking it more than I like What If right now. To be honest,
don't like.
I'm just
I
gonna
like
wait till
Titans.
the
like either
season's
this week,
over
to be
and then
brutally
talk
honest
about Titans. That's my plan. I'm gonna wait till the whole thing's over and then I'll talk about it.
That's probably the best thing.
Yeah.
So we don't go off.
I'm way
into
outnumbered as far as liking it,
into
so I'm just
tins.
like I'm just gonna leave that alone until the
Well, I like
and
Star
I'll
Trek.
do my own video.
Star Trek Lower Decks right now is better, and
Hey, Star Trek's getting some primetime content. It's a great.
oh, it's fantastic, man. It is absolutely 100%.
I think that's like the safest fandom to like talk to people in because there's no animosity. There's
there is, but it's kind of just been like drowned out by this point.
Yeah,
like
well,
the Menace kind of started with Discovery, so
yeah, that's true.
But like it kind of burned out. Like I actually watched Discovery; it wasn't as bad as they made it out to be, and from that point on, I was hooked. I mean, speaking of 80s movies, though, the Star Trek movies of the 80s.
The first one, the motion picture.
The motion picture was in the late 70s, I think. 79,
right,
I think.
Yeah.
But Wrath of Khan was in 81, I believe.
Yes.
And then they had the trilogy. They had Wrath of Khan, Search for Spock, and then Voyage Home.
Right.
Star Trek 4, The Voyage Home, like I still watch that movie to this day just because, like, anytime I go to San Francisco, like, I have to watch it. It's a prereq. Like, you know, just because stand on the corner asking where the nuclear vessels are. You know, double dumbass on you.
Yeah, I was going to say double dumbass on you.
Or I think you did a little too much LDS.
There was that was a good one. There was a growing up, I remember even going to the movies to see what was it, Part 5, which really wasn't that great.
I went to Yosemite and I was like,
yeah,
all right.
My father was a big Star Trek fan, so that's how I got into it. So
my uncle's a huge.
It's funny that you bring that up because me too. Since I was a kid, I mean, even the original show, watching the reruns of it, like I've always been a Star Trek fan. I loved all the original. I love Next Gen, and one of my probably the top of my guilty pleasure list is I fucking love the J.J. Abrams, at least 1 and 2.
Oh, I'm a fan of those.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Star Trek fans will crucify you for it. That's why I put it.
I personally don't like it, but I'm not gonna hate on it, bro.
It was just a different version, but I love the
because to me it wasn't really even a reboot. It was almost like the Days of Future Past with X-Men, you know, like
it's an alternate universe kind of
take. It's an alternate timeline.
Yeah,
like it's like real Spock is still there. You know what I mean? Like in the first one. And I loved it, and I loved seeing the whole like the way that the new timeline like made this new like the way that Spock and Kirk became friends and everything, and like I just thought the whole thing respected the original stuff a lot, and I loved it for that, you know. And I mean part 3, I've gone back and rewatched it. I didn't like it at first, but it's grown on me over time. But 1 and 2, I really liked, and I like the twist on the Khan story and everything. I love Wrath of Khan's like my favorite of the original franchise. You know what I mean? Yeah. And I still liked it. I mean,
I loved the 2009 for the first one he did. Loved it. The second one was great. The problem was I think I ruined it myself. Like I had trekmovie.com like was like the spoiler website at the time, and you're just like checking it every day, looking, and it was like John Harrison, and it's not Khan, and then it's Khan, and I was like, God damn it!
That marketing for that movie did not do that movie.
Oh no, and then when they basically flipped the glass at the end, with like word for word what Spock and Kirk said to each other, it was like, oh come on, please stop.
Yeah, that one was
change the words. But other than that, no, I can agree with you though. Like I said, I'm not going to crucify you for that. No, that's decent. No, honestly, those are the highest grossing Star Trek movies of all time. So like, you can't.
Are they really? I didn't know that.
They like rock and roll a little bit.
Well, yeah, exactly. They kind of injected a little Star Wars into your Star Trek. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, gave it like a little bit of Beastie Boys. To use a better term,
way to put it, yeah, they just
like literally,
and then they did play that song in that one moment, yes, when he steals the car in the beginning.
That new
and then they use it in part 3 too, and he uses it when they smash through all the ships, you know, at the end of part 3. Like,
you know, the smartest thing they did. The smartest thing they did with that new trilogy was probably casting Pine as, you know, Kirk.
What? I think Siler's awesome as Spock too. I love
Yeah,
him.
that's a great cast as well.
Especially like in part 1 when they show his evolution as a kid growing up with them bullying him about being half human and all. Yeah. And then when he goes before the council and he's like, despite your disadvantage, and he's like, live long and prosper, and like bounce, he's like bounces on him basically. I love that scene. Dude.
Well, and I like it. Uhura's casting. Goddamn, why is her name escaping me? Zoe Saldana. Dude, I love Zoe Saldana. I mean, she's fantastic, and the fact that she's Gamora too, like, just kind of adds to the coolness. So it's like she's been in like the highest grossing films of all time, like
that and Avatar.
I'm really hopeful for part 4. Like, I'm really hoping that, like,
I hope they can get everybody together. I hope they can bring back Hemsworth as George Kirk, or maybe even it pains me, and it's probably not going to happen. But I would really, really, really like to see Shatner and Pine not on screen at the same time, but like
that would be cool.
In the same movie would be cool.
Little X-Men Days of Future Past is going on there. Yeah,
well, I mean, if think about it, like the Kelvin timeline, Kirk might not have died in the
like
that's true. In generations. You know what I mean? So like,
right.
There could be.
Yeah.
I feel like at this point,
I like Captain Kirk. Can't kill Captain Kirk like that.
Yeah, I feel like after the unfortunate passing of Leonard Nimoy, I feel like Shatner could do it, but again, like Paramount has to like start like playing nice with their big budget film. Like they really have to start being like a little bit more, I don't know, generous to that cast, because obviously they've all gone on and become bigger now. Like Chris Pine is Steve Trevor, he's also a very acclaimed actor in his own right, and then you've also got Chris Hemsworth. He's Thor, so of course his price tag is going to go up.
Oh, you're Zoe Saldana
after Endgame. Oh my God.
You can't.
Carl Urban got bigger.
Yeah,
Carl Urban too.
Huge.
Zoe Saldana, as Brian mentioned, everyone.
John Cho is about.
John Cho's huge.
Bebop.
He's about to do Cowboy Bebop, right?
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, speaking of,
here's a question for you guys, because I wasn't like a big. Obviously, I didn't watch the older series and stuff, but I enjoyed the newer films and stuff. What do you guys like think, especially Brian, I'm very curious, of Quentin Tarantino possibly doing? Because I heard the son of the franchise, of the like creative franchise against it.
Yeah, Rod Roddenberry. I personally, no, I just don't see it. Like, I'm not a big fan. Like, it's just because I'm not a fan of Quentin Tarantino movies, to be honest.
Okay.
So, like, if he were to do a take of Star Trek, I don't know how I would feel about it.
We're talking about Star Trek, Quentin Tarantino. That's a possible thing.
No, at one point in time, it was rumored and kind of
there were talks.
It fizzled, and then.
I mean, I love Tarantino, but I don't see that. No,
I
don't see him on Star Trek.
I wouldn't want to see pulp Star Trek. Like,
right, he got the guy that wrote The Revenant to write a. They wrote a draft. Like there was a draft written.
Right.
And stuff,
I mean, if he would do it seriously without all the MFers and like his style of work, if he would do it like a real Star Trek movie and not like a Quentin Tarantino movie, like that'd be all right.
I feel like if he approached it from let me make it from as a Star Trek fan instead of maybe as Quentin Tarantino would behind the camera, I feel like there's something a little bit different to be had there. But again, this is Quentin Tarantino who said he's only going to make one more movie and then that's it. He's done. Right. He's also very adamant about doing his stuff on film. And given the way that, Star Trek movies and even just like any sci-fi based anything is made today, it's more likely probably going to be digital.
Yeah, it's going to be straight to TV or some form of well, it's just not a lucrative genre in the theaters anymore, to be perfectly honest. I mean, and they come and they go. I mean, sci-fi movies were popular back in the day, and I mean, like, I still think Star Wars is like bankable and stuff like that. But I think Star Wars,
I think both are.
Yeah, exactly. So I don't know.
I think when it comes to Star Trek and Star Wars, right? It's not so much about maybe the story per se. And it is absolutely, but I feel like when it comes to approaching those IPs, I feel like a lot of other things come on the checklist before the story. Like you have to get the tone of the world, you have to come up with certain characters, you have to, do other things and then find a story that would service these characters. Whereas, over to like the superhero genre, you have characters that are servable for big different kind of stories. Like Batman is a street level vigilante who does some very big swing kind of things. Superman is this world hero with a very human perspective. Like, you know,
yeah, I mean, I kind of look at them like a buffet kind of thing, like where it's a little bit of everything, like a salad bar. Like you go in, you've got aspects of a crime movie and a superhero movie, and that's why I think that the genre itself is going to have a little more longevity because it includes other genres, like Shang-Chi, for example, kung fu movies. You know what I mean? So it's like every one of those is going to have its own little niche as far as that goes, and that's longevity will take its place, especially with like spectacle, because people still like to see spectacle when it comes down to it. Speaking of guilty pleasures, mine's Batman and Robin.
That was on my list.
Okay, so I was a kid when I saw that
movie, bro. Love it.
Like a little kid. I didn't have a problem with that as a kid. I thought it was fun. It was Poison Ivy.
I wish I still had the soundtrack. Like that soundtrack was epic. It had 2 songs from the Smashing Pumpkins. Like it had a R. Kelly song on there. It actually had the theme from the movie on there. Oh my god, dude.
That's when you got them in cassette tape, and you had to look at the cassette tape and flip them open. You're reading all the little letters. And when you flip it up, you're like, "Wait, what number is it?" All right, fast forward, stop, play, fast forward. Oh shit, I skipped half of it.
Oh no, this was a newfangled thing called a compact disc. I was blown away. I was like, yes, a CD.
It's funny you mentioned that because my favorite soundtrack is actually of the old Burton Schumacher flicks, Batman Forever. Seal.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I had that one too. That was a really good one. It had U2 on there.
Yep.
Oh man, yeah. No, Offspring.
See, my problem is I wasn't a kid anymore by the time the Schumacher ones came out, and I was very.
I was 3 in 95 and 5 in 97. Those movies were practically tailor made for me. I bought the boys.
Theater. I saw the Batman and Robin was the last movie I saw to drive in.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah. And I saw that was the second time I watched it. Like I love Batman and Robin. Well, I had a thing for Alicia Silverstone. And at the time when she was at like her most Alicia Silverstone-ist, because like Clueless had just come out. She was in all those videos with all the Aerosmith videos.
That was great. Alicia Silverstone-ist. Yeah.
Crying, right?
Oh yeah. Amazing. Crazy. Those are some music videos, man.
I love Uma Thurman in that movie. I don't know why, but I do. Because her Poison Ivy was just so super 90s, but also in a way very Adam West in a like a 90s perspective. And it's just like, damn, I want to see this in like that world. But this still works because, like, you know, George Clooney's in the Panther suit, and him and Chris O'Donnell are kind of going back and forth, and it's bad, but it's like
it came out.
Yeah, right. It's just like I can't not laugh. Like, it's bad, but I fucking love it.
It was amazing. They played hockey with the diamond.
Like, yeah. The opening scene's not a fight; it's a dance. It was so great. It was, oh my god!
Batman on ice,
dinosaurs, the Ice Age.
Wait, you know what? That just made me think of an '80s movie that I don't know how I forgot it, but fucking Rad. Anybody know about Rad?
Wait, is that
like it was the BMX movie. It was like they did him and the girlfriend do the BMX bike dance at the prom.
Oh my god! What the hell? The Rad BMX.
There's even a whole episode of Teen Titans Go devoted to it, like because they like redo the movie on the episode because the writers of that show are all about like '80s movies and shit. It's
you
funny.
And your Teen Titans Go, man. I tried it. I tried.
Yeah, you like it, Randy?
Weird Al Yankovic does the voice of Darkseid. That's
that was it. That was great. Yeah. Starfire.
Look at Austin's face. He's like, "What?
What?
You didn't get to the Justice League one? That was like the second one in the list.
Yeah. Oh, dude. Weird Al does the voice of Darkseid. I
gave him a list of good episodes to watch. I was like,
Anybody major league fans on here?
Oh yeah, Paul knows.
I mean, I can't tell you how many times I watched that damn movie.
One, two, Back to the Minors. Which one, man?
Right,
You want to know why I think? If you're a Cleveland Indians fan, I do apologize, but you want to know why I think? I mean, I understand it's Charlie Sheen, but what they should have done is they should have tried harder to steer into the skid of that movie. That's why I feel like they have never won. They haven't won a World Series in years.
At the time was when we never went to the World Series around '93, and we had Mitch Williams on the Phillies, and like he actually was the wild thing at the time in the MLB. But then they made the movie about the Indians. Like I was like, what the fuck? Why didn't they make the movie about the Phillies? You know what I mean? Like I was like, that sucks. Like
that first movie's classic, though. I don't know.
Yeah,
that movie will always hit. I will still laugh my ass off.
Corbin Burnson.
Oh God, Corbin Burnson. Tom Berenger, the substitute.
Tom Berenger. Oh, Platoon. He was badass in Platoon.
Yes.
1989 Punisher. Yeah.
Dear Grandma.
Dolph Lundgren.
Punisher 1989 was. I remember renting that and going, "What the hell is this?" I'm like, he doesn't even have the Punisher symbol.
I know.
Dolph Lundgren with black hair. It just didn't work.
That over the top.
Oh,
the arm wrestling movie with Sylvester Stallone.
Over the top. Yeah.
Oh, what about Roadhouse? Freaking.
That's a classic.
Dude, like I love Roadhouse. That was a good one.
Swayze was the man.
Swayze was the man.
Swayze was the freaking man in that. And then there was a movie with Ed O'Neill. Fuck, he had a kid. They're like on a road trip together, kind of. It's like
I think that's the 90s. That's the 90s.
Is that the 90s? Did that hit the 90s? See, I got a little mixed up. I know
I remember it though.
Yeah, son of a bitch.
Fuck, it's funny too because the kid's like spoiled, right? And
he's like a little douche
the whole time. Yeah. I don't remember what it was called. Ed? Is it Ed?
Is it Ed?
No, I don't think it's Ed.
No, it's not Ed. Someone just said Demolition Man. No, Demolition Man was in the 90s.
That was in the 90s. That is a guilty pleasure right there.
If you want anything, go
Sylvester Stallone, Judge Dredd.
That's a pleasure.
The second one, the newer one, so much better.
I love Rob Schneider in that movie, by the way.
Oh, I just remembered his part in that movie too.
Sri was saying earlier, a big one of mine too is Terminator Salvation. I think so many people misunderstand and don't get what's going on in Terminator Salvation.
That's the one with Bale,
the
right?
franchise should have been there. You know what I mean? Like really.
I mean, despite the fact that movie treats women like shit, there
should have been one more movie based right out of that with Christian Bale coming back. You know what I mean? And like they should have showed Reese getting sent back, basically, and then it would have been complete. It would have been perfect because everybody acts like they made up some new story. I mean, they did make up a new story, granted, with adding the other guy to it and everything. But if you pay attention in the ending scene, he gets the same exact scar across his face, which tells me that this is exactly what happened the first time. And when we see him in the flashbacks in part 1, these events have already happened, basically. You know what I mean? Like they did it so smart if you think about it, because in that ending scene where Reese is in the factory and he's getting him out and he fights the robot and the robot burns the scars across his face, that's the same exact scars he has in the flashbacks in 2 and the flashbacks in 1. So if these events weren't what happened the first time, why are the scars? You know what I mean? So technically it's not something new happening. It's just we're seeing the history, and I think it completed this, even though part 3 sucks. Part 3 is a necessary step in the timeline because you see how they had the underground tunnels given to them basically for the resistance and all, because they end up in the bomb shelter by her dad at the end. You know what I mean? And then you see D-Day happen. Then part 4 being Salvation, I felt like kind of like what they did after that fucking sucked. Everything they've done since then sucked. And I feel like that was a way better ending to the franchise and way more completed the original vision kind of. You know what I mean? Like, and I fucking love it. It's like one of my favorite Terminator movies. Like,
I love Salvation, but I didn't think Genesis was terrible. That was just
it was so
I can't watch
off the
Genesis.
beaten
That
path
was just
that was
not
set up
good.
in Salvation.
Wow.
It was like, what the fuck? Like,
it's so bad.
Yeah.
But I didn't actually. I didn't think Dark Fate was that bad. And maybe that was because
Dark Fate is just.
I haven't watched
it. Was terrible.
Still, it was like really
Dark
weird.
Fate.
And like after Genesis, I think probably anybody can make a better.
Yeah, Genesis is like Genesis is like the Catwoman of the Terminator franchise, basically.
Dude, Terminator Salvation was the last movie from Terminator I watched. I haven't seen Genesis and I haven't seen Dark Fate yet.
If someone was like forcing you to watch one or the other, I'm probably with Austin, Dark Fate. But even then, it's like
they're both sleepers.
Well, it kind of ties into 2, right? Like T2.
I mean, they tried in T2, but they failed.
So Dark Fate is literally like the ego of James Cameron and the directorial vision of Tim Miller crossing paths and constantly conflicting at each other throughout the entirety of it on screen. It is just fucking just. It is. You see both of their anger on screen. It's just like it takes away from all of it. I don't know.
Oh,
Dark Fate is just a mind. Yeah, Gavin's kind of right with that. The first 5 minutes is just like what?
Yeah,
I'd rather watch the Sarah Connor Chronicles and Brian Austin Green than watch these 2 movies.
Yeah,
honestly, you know what I mean?
Leonard Headey was great in that. I don't care what anybody says.
Summer Glau was in one of the Terminator shows too.
She was it was a good show. It really was.
He was also in Firefly.
Right.
It all took place in between 2 and 3, like in John Connor's life, basically.
Because he's kind of he's a teenager going through school, and they have to keep changing his identity and shit. Yeah.
Yeah, Brian Austin Green's like Reese's older brother or some shit.
Right. And then like in the future, they kind of allude to Connor working with the Terminators. It's got a funky storyline to it. So it was going places, but they axed it after 2 seasons, I think.
I don't know. It just kind of got really convoluted after like the third one. The third one made no sense to me. So I was just like, okay, what are we doing here? All right, never mind.
Yeah, the third one, if you go back and look at it now with the understanding of the whole storyline, the third one does fit right in.
It makes more sense now. I just can't go back and watch it. That's the problem.
Because I remember seeing it in the movies and thinking right away, like I mean, them throwing the girl Terminator in was stupid and all, but like when you get to the end and D-Day happens and you see how it went down with the military and all, and then you realize that like the whole reason John Connor had the tunnels to set the resistance up where they live and all the scenes in the future is because the military base was handed to him basically right as it happened. You know what I mean? I was like, okay, so that's cool. I get that, you know?
Right. And then you jump to Salvation, and he's not quite the military leader of the Last of Humanity, but he's like kind of a lieutenant in
like on the way there. Yeah.
Right. He's on his way there.
Yep.
It's like Salvation had the right intention, but a lot of the execution was just kind of
It fell flat.
They definitely fell flat. And also, you know, this franchise is rooted in like, you know, a strong female character in Sarah Connor. And again, you just kind of sideline your female characters in Salvation and like.
Well, think about how it started off backwards in a way. It didn't start off
but I think it was meant to take place in the future. So it was like, you know,
T2's,
that's
like everybody thinks T2 is the first one. After
right.
Well, isn't that the one with the Bale meltdown too? Like the on-set meltdown of Christian Bale.
Yes.
Yeah.
Get out of my
can't fucking walk in the show.
He's a method actor, so he's like going back to the hotel, probably like sleeping.
Yeah.
In the
This isn't professional.
probably wrecked his hotel after that.
Probably.
He's got like a burning trash can in his hotel room and shit. Like, you know,
Glass breaking. He's going American Psycho.
Yeah. Method actors, man.
Sitting there with a walkie-talkie, like, you know, like it was the last day of the resistance, and
he was in my eye line.
I know all you guys have seen this. The Golden Child. Come on.
That's a good one. Yeah,
that's a guilty pleasure. That movie.
I saw that in the movie.
When you watch it, my God, my sweet brother Noopsy. Come on.
Oh, I like that Coming to America, the first one.
Oh yeah, the first one. You can never touch that one. But that weird ass monster at the end of the Golden Child was fucking crazy. I remember that as a kid.
It's like Big Trouble in Little China too. He's on his shit.
Yeah. Oh, definitely. I mean, shit. Escape from New York.
The Last Dragon.
Ned Bliskin.
I love it, dude. Escape from New York. That's up there for me too. 82. Yeah. I love it, dude.
Bruce
and
Leroy.
They were talking about doing a reboot with Charlie Hunnam playing Snake. And I was all for it.
Show enough.
Now the reboot is with Dwayne The Rock Johnson.
I'd actually much prefer it if it was with this kid, Wyatt Russell.
Let's put that.
He looks a lot like him.
What's with Dwayne The Rock Johnson?
I thought Charlie Hunnam would have been good.
Escape from New York reboot.
No, I thought it was Big Trouble in Little China.
Wait, are you serious?
Was it?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure the reboot with Dwayne The Rock Johnson is Big Trouble in Little China.
Okay, that's
okay,
but even that, how you
I
get a
think you're
minute?
right. I think you're right. I think I messed up. Yeah.
That's tough.
Escape
even
from New
so.
York. Charlie Hunnam was in talks like 3 different times, and they keep shutting it down. They keep going to do it, and then shutting it down.
It's
like
crazy.
I don't know if you could touch.
No, I feel like you could do like a modern remake of Escape from New York with Wyatt Russell, his kid. Like that would be pretty badass. Matter of fact, I was really shocked that Sony went with Oscar Isaac for Solid Snake, because I think Wyatt Russell would probably do a pretty good job there too. But I get Oscar Isaac being in that role because he's largely based off of Snake Plissken from Escape from New York, I think.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I think you're right. Yeah, I think
From Metal Gear, like the Metal Gear Snake,
Metal
I
Gear
think is
Solid,
based
yeah.
off is like loosely based off of.
Snake. That's okay.
Yeah.
That could be a really good movie or TV series if they ever tried to do anything Metal Gear.
They are.
Yeah,
I think Sony's like kind of dragging ass with it, but Jordan Vaughn Roberts, who did Kong Skull Island, I think he's been like really like wanting to do this movie, and I think Oscar Isaac is attached to it.
The classic NES game, man.
Yeah.
That revolutionized some gameplay back in the day. Metal Gear,
still fire.
Tango
and Cash.
Yeah, that was fire.
That's another one of the jams right there. Oh,
I saw somebody mention Demolition Man. Demolition Man is one of the greatest institutions of our society and future societies. That's all I'll say about that.
Oh no, definitely Armor Hot Dogs.
Who was
that? Do you know that there's 2 different versions of that?
Armored Hot Dogs?
No, of that movie.
What? There is.
Okay, yes. So if I were to ask you, Neil, who won the fast food wars?
Taco Bell.
Nope.
Who won it?
Oh, that's right. Yeah, the Canadian
Pizza Hut.
versions.
It's not the Canadian version. It's the international version. So I introduced a friend of mine, my old tech director. I introduced him to the movie Demolition Man. I was telling him how great it was. So he went home that night. He downloaded it on his Plex, and he came back the next day. He's like, "Dude, that was awesome. Thank you so much. Like that was hilarious. It was funny." And then we start talking. I was like, "So what was your favorite part?" And we start, just exchanging parts. I'm like, "I know, man. I just love the fact that like Taco Bell wins the fast food wars." Like he looks at me and he goes, "What are you talking about? It's Pizza Hut." And I'm like, "No, it's Taco Bell." And he goes, no, it's, dude, I just watched it last night. It's Pizza Hut. You just don't remember. And I'm like, dude, I've been watching that movie, man, since it came out. That movie, it's like one of my favorite movies. It's Taco Bell.
I remember it as Taco Bell too.
I'm like, so like we go back and forth for like about 5 minutes, and like I'm getting pissed off now because like this guy who literally just saw it for the first time the night before is trying to tell me that I don't know that freaking Taco Bell won the war, man. And so like we're going back. If I was like, screw this, so I pull up Google and I'm like, I'm going to show him off, right? And like there it is on Google that apparently they lost the rights to be able to do it internationally and say that use Taco Bell internationally. So they changed it to freaking Pizza. So if you download that version, Zod Writer, we were talking about it one night and he's like, "Wait a second, I just downloaded that movie a couple of weeks ago on his Plex," and he went back and he's like, "Sure enough, I had the freaking Pizza Hut version," and so he had to re-download the Taco Bell version. So if you download it, kiddies, make sure that you get the real one.
Make sure you get the Taco Bell cut.
Taco Bell cut. Oh,
short circuit. Okay, Johnny 5.
My God, dude. Plus, I absolutely, as a kid, I loved Ali Sheedy, dude. Like, I wanted to marry her.
"Who's Johnny?" she said, and tried to look the other way. "Who's Johnny?"
Even though that movie, like the whole Indian stereotype in that, where they would never fly nowadays, dude. Like, way over the top 80s, like stereotypical.
Part 2, man. Part 2.
Michael McKean.
Part 2. That was, oh my God, I loved Part 2. Oh, the way that whole thing. And now you're going to spring me in the Police Academy because.
Oh yes, all the sequels.
One always leads into another.
Citizen Patrol.
Anything with Michael Winslow in it. Come on.
Do you remember? I brought it up a couple of minutes ago, but you remember like Rad and Thrasher, right? Like Rad was the BMX one where they did the dance.
So you know what I remember? You know what I remember about Rad? Okay, so this will be a totally 80s situation like people nowadays don't understand. When VHS hit it really big, right? So you had everybody talks about all these, video stores that popped up, right? But nobody talks about a lot how like little corner markets had little video sections. Your grocery store had a video section, right, and everything. And so I would go to the grocery
Get a card
store
at Acme and shit.
Exactly.
Like,
and so like so the thing is like I would go to the grocery store with my grandma, and my grandma would go grocery shopping, and I would just I would peruse the movies, right? Because we had this one little section. It was almost like the old newsstands, right, with all the magazine stuff, but it was all just movies, man. And I would just look at all these movies. And so Rad was always one of those movies that like I never rented. I never knew what it was. The cover, because I was a kid, so the cover didn't really jump out at me because the cover was like just those bikes. Right.
Yeah,
like the
letters,
And so I remember that never stood out to me. So like I never asked to rent that movie. And so sorry. I wish I could be there for you, bro. But I do know what you're talking about. I do know what you're talking about.
Like the skateboard one.
I'll get you guys.
Thrasher, basically, like because back then that's what they would do. They would take like, okay, this is a thing now. Let's make a movie out of it. Like skateboard and make a movie out of it. They
did the same thing like in the mid 2000s with Grind.
Yeah.
Funny ass movie.
I could be wrong. I'm not sure if this was 80s, but this is definitely a guilty pleasure movie. It would be No Holds Barred.
Oh yeah,
with Hulk Hogan.
89 because it led into SummerSlam 89, man, where they brought Zeus as the actor, and he was.
I remember all that. Yeah.
He was horrible.
He's
a horrible wrestler. Oh my god!
And then they took that storyline with Zeus and they tried to turn it in to their actual WWF, WWE. God forbid I say WWF.
How did we not know wrestling was scripted back in the day? Like I swear to God, like we just literally watched the movie and it's like we know it's an act. We see it's like what Zeus was in these other movies too. What the heck?
They're doing the same thing. I'm like, what's watching it as an adult, I'm like, oh my god, what were they doing?
Acting like Zeus is mad at Hulk Hogan. Like, and he's Zeus. He's not the actor. He is Zeus. Come from the movie into the WWF to like get his revenge on Hulk Hogan for what happened in the movie. Like that's
all he did was choke. That's it.
Yeah, and you'd hit him and nothing would happen. He would just go. Ah!
He would bang his chest like King Kong.
But dude, that's one of my first memories, though, of really loving wrestling. Though was SummerSlam '89. I didn't watch it on pay-per-view because I wasn't able to watch it yet. But no, we didn't. I rented it later, but I remember I watched it over at a friend's house.
Expensive back then. Like,
oh heck yeah, it was.
Oh,
but I remember because but 1990. See, that's what led into it. So 89 with SummerSlam 89, that's what led me into really being excited about wrestling, like as a kid. And that's what led to me like getting WrestleMania 6 on pay-per-view. And I got all my buddies together. We all pitched in and we watched WrestleMania 6. And then we watched like all the pay-per-views that year, man. We were like kicking it, man. We were like watching SummerSlam 90, the Survivor Series, all the stuff, man.
And then as you got older, you would go to the video store and rent all the old ones that you never saw.
Yes.
That's how I did it.
Yes.
And I'd watch all the old school ones and just sit there and just have my toys and just sit there and watch that. And
what was the company? Remember there was one. You remember that there was one company. I just watched Coliseum Video. So I just watched something about this the other day, and I didn't know this. Maybe some people knew this. I guess if you're a connoisseur of those types of films, you would know this. I did not know this, but Coliseum Films was a distributor of adult movies.
Oh, I didn't know that.
At the same time.
Nice.
Interesting.
Yeah. Yeah. So that little thing that said Coliseum Video, apparently that appeared before like the can you imagine being a kid sitting down and going, oh cool, it's gonna be Hulk Hogan. Oh wait, it might still be Hulk Hogan.
Nobody wants to see that though, man.
Gonna give him the big elbow. Wait, that's not an arm. What is that?
It's his third leg.
Whoa. What the heck is going on? Although WrestleMania 6 almost looked like an adult film. I mean, like with Ultimate Warrior kneeling before Hogan in that one spot where they do the challenge and stuff. And then, like they got that picture. It's a meme now of the Ultimate Warrior, like right there, like right at Hulk Hogan's crotch, man. And he's just holding his arms out like this. Like,
oh god.
Too funny.
Real Steel isn't that bad.
Real Steel was great.
I'll tell you what. Speaking of Jackman, that's Origins Wolverine's one of mine.
I was gonna say that's my guilty pleasure.
I mean, I hate the Deadpool shit, but the rest, like, I love the whole opening with them in the military and all that. Like, there's a lot of things in that movie I like. You know
I
what
mean,
I
at the
mean?
time
Like,
as a kid, that was the most violent Wolverine movie I'd ever gotten. So it's like, yeah.
The Ryan Reynolds Deadpool scene is cool with the freaking bullets, and he's.
Okay, Wade Wilson in that movie is awesome. Deadpool is not.
Oh
yeah,
yeah.
like in the beginning, he's great
you're right.
with the whole
Yeah,
teaser,
it's awesome.
good slicing the bullet in half and all. Like that shit.
Yeah,
was
that's
dope.
badass.
Well, speaking of Ryan Reynolds, another quasi guilty pleasure, especially around some of you guys, Green Lantern.
Yep.
Yeah,
I like Green Lantern. I really do. Last time I watched it, I was like, hey, this ain't that bad. Because, like I said, I'm not much of a comic book reader so much, but like I really dug like that movie. Like it was cool. Like I wish they would have carried it on, but more so. Like they should have just stuck with it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they should have made a sequel with Sinestro as the villain.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it could have been
what they were
redeemed.
leading to.
You know what I mean? Like if they would have kept going with it, I don't think it would get looked back on nearly as harshly as it does now, just being the standalone thing that it is.
Well, Sinestro should have been the villain of the first one. They should have done the first part of the movie with the villain that they used.
Parallax.
Parallax. They should have done the first. That should have been the intro to Hal Jordan, bringing them all together, and then at the end, Sinestro. At the end of fighting Parallax, Sinestro gets the yellow ring and then starts to reach out to Hal, who has become a friend and a confidant, and they bonded together over fighting this thing. And then all of a sudden, he has to fight his friend at the end.
Yeah.
Because this thing of like trying to like wait till the second movie and show us. I mean, because Mark Strong looks absolutely amazing as Sinestro, and that yellow suit at the end is like, oh my god, I can't wait. Like maybe we'll get a good one. And it's like look, I get it, Brian. I agree with you. It's not horrible, but I can't stand Parallax in that movie, and Hector in that movie is awful too. Like it just makes me feel uncomfortable.
It was gross. I was just like, oh, bro. Can you pop that thing? Like,
right? Oh my god, it's so bad.
There was a way to do that character better, and they just didn't. I honestly feel like they could have done a different villain all entirely together, like maybe the Manhunters. Maybe
I mean, they had the blueprint with First Flight with the animated movie.
Right.
I mean, Wonder Woman knew what to do. They basically followed the animated movie's blueprint, and it was a hit. So Green Lantern could have did the same thing, and they would have been fine. But they had to put a fart cloud in it. So.
Yeah,
that's the thing is they fought a fart cloud, man, and it's just it doesn't.
They fought a fart.
He did.
Well, it's like Rise of Silver Surfer too. I mean, the same thing with Galactus.
Galactus. Yeah, it's I know.
I mean, probably could see Silver Surfer live. I remember back in the day trying to find that toy. That was like that coveted toy. Remember the Silver Surfer toy from back in the day? Yeah. And then getting that and just be like, oh, so then you finally see him on screen. You're like, what the fuck are they doing? I mean, not for nothing. I mean, no different. I mean, what was it? What was that other movie that they did? It's not going to come to me right now, but Jesus, that movie was bad. The Fantastic Four. But you can still go back and kind of watch those besides the other Fantastic Four movie when you think about it. I never saw that one. The one that everybody.
I love part 2 of the Silver Surfer. I mean, except for Galactus at the end, basically. I love the Silver Surfer.
Lawrence Fishburne had the best voice for Silver Surfer. Like I loved it. Like,
oh crap, that was Fishburne.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
And I like Chris Evans as the Human Torch, man. Like I think he really nailed the Johnny Storm character.
Flame on.
Yeah,
all those castings were pretty good. I thought.
Alba is the Invisible Girl. I forget his name is like escapes me, but Mr. Fantastic was really
Iron
good.
Grufford.
Iron Grufford.
Is that his name?
And I also like Doctor Doom. He was good. He was the guy from what Nip Tuck.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's exactly.
Damn it, who's the actor for that?
And that show was huge at the time. Like,
damn it.
My dad and my stepmom.
But Fan Force Stick, the one that everybody dislikes. I mean, it has its moments.
Those castings were great. They could have,
that
could have been great. But yeah, they really dropped the ball with the way the execution was on that movie. Unfortunately,
Julian McMahon, that's who played Victor Von Doom.
Yeah, Sri. That's kind of what he looks like, but just with a face instead of a bunch of like headlights.
Yes, Shri. Galactus in the comics sort of looks like one of the Celestials in the Turtle shirt. The only difference is Galactus has like big purple helmet, 2 set of eyes, and he's just this giant planet-eating cosmic entity. But even then, he's nothing compared to like the Living Tribunal and Infinity and Eternity. Like, there's a lot of other cosmic Marvel entities that we're just now starting to see with the Eternals. So that'll be interesting.
I'd really like to see that, like them bring, like in the movies, bring one of these villains to life that like is actually going to be like bigger than the planet itself, and like see how
I think that's
that
what they're
looks.
leading to, honestly.
Yeah, definitely, yeah.
Just some dude standing on a planet, like,
or just like hovering next to Earth, like you could like play handball with it, like.
No.
Because that's like, because Galactus like comes all like can be that size and shit too, right? Like, isn't he?
Yeah.
He's huge.
It's a world.
Yeah, he's like fucking gigantic.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I agree, Gavin. What they did to Doom and Fan Four Stick was awful.
Oh man, that was just so disheartening.
It's honestly the first time I watched it, I fell asleep as it was happening. Like at the end, like when all the climax was coming, like and then it was like I only fell asleep for like a few minutes, and I woke up and the credits were going, and I'm like, wait, did the end happen? Like what the fuck? Yeah, because it's like so fast.
How did we get here?
Yeah, like, I'm like, what? Like what the fuck?
I was like,
did I stroke out? Yeah.
I was like, somebody was watching the first one. Like,
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
It was the same like circular death ring floating in the sky. I was like, oh, okay, all right. I was getting Man of Steel vibes.
Yeah. The floating ring of trash in the sky. The old go-to.
That'll stand by.
So what? Enosh, did you finish your 80s movies already? I forget if you
yeah. Sorry. Yeah. Sorry, I had to step out for a second. But yeah.
What about guilty pleasures?
Pretty much. Guilty pleasures, Superman 4. Superman 3, like I don't make any bones about the fact that I love Superman 3. I don't have any issues with Superman 3. I think when people complain about Superman 3, I go like, why?
It's got John Cryer in it, right?
No, that's Superman 4. Superman 4 is the guilty pleasure that it's like, I get why people don't like it, but also like I'm not going to sit around and complain about it all day. It's horrible. It's a well-conceived movie, but the execution was horrible. Like even when I saw it in 87 at 11 years old, I was like, oh my God, what, like it didn't seem like it was a full movie. It didn't seem like it was finished, It was like there's just, and that's because they chopped out a huge part of that movie. And it's unfortunate because Christopher Reeve actually came up with the idea for that film, and they talking about Canon Films, Brian. Canon Films screwed the pooch on that movie because they were given so much money by Warner Brothers to make that movie under their banner. And they took that movie, and instead, the reason why Masters of the Universe looks as good as it does, because Masters of the Universe, like you can argue about the script.
Some of the practical effects hold
for the
up
time it came out, it looked.
But those effects were really good, and that's because Canon Films wanted to fund their He-Man movie, right? And so they took the money that Warner Brothers gave them for Superman 4, and they put it into that movie and thought that they could skimp on the Superman effects and stuff. And that's why the Superman effects looked absolutely horrible and atrocious.
Yeah,
you can never skimp on the Superman, man. Never.
No, well, and that's why they keep using. They use the same.
Well, 4 looks worse than 1. It's the truth.
Yeah,
like,
well, they use the same, like, I guess it was like a blue screen effect or like a projection effect, whatever. But you literally see they never color corrected that film. So that's why the suit looks like 5 different colors of blue, and in some scenes it looks green. But they keep reusing this one thing where Superman flies directly to the camera like this, and it's just, and it looks literally like they took a picture of him and just like moved it forward because it's the same thing. It's just it's like stuff behind him, but it's the same thing of him moving just straight up to it, and it's just weird. But yeah, that's the story of Superman 4. Plus, they cut out a whole scene with like a Bizarro type of creature because there was like a Nuclear Man 1, and it's all in the deleted scenes, and you can find them on YouTube too. It was like a guy who had crazy hair and went to a nightclub. When they talk about the Metropolis Club that him and what's her name go to, like it happens at the Metropolis Club, and Superman fights him, but Superman doesn't want to fight him because he sees him as kind of like childlike, like Bizarro or whatever. It's weird, but Christopher Reeve. Dawson and I are going to do a video about this eventually. We're going to get around to this, but like all these pea-brained people out there who like attack Zack Snyder's Superman and everything, and they love Christopher Reeve. They don't realize that like if you read articles and you watch interviews with Christopher Reeve would have loved to have been Zack Snyder's Superman. because Christopher Reeve was pissed off that his character was basically being written as a comedic joke. He didn't like it. He didn't like it. And that was what Superman 4 was supposed to be. That's the only reason they got him on to Superman 4, which is ironic that it's the worst. Because the only way that they got him on Superman 4, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry, Cherie. The only reason they got Christopher Reeve on Superman 4 was because they told him you can have control over the script and the story and everything. And so he wrote this story of what he felt Superman should be doing, serious things. And look, in 1987, at the height of the Cold War, you couldn't get any more serious than nuclear weapons, man. And Superman taking out nuclear arsenals. And so that was what the whole point was. But by the time it got through the script phase and it got cut up and the Masters of the Universe thing took all their money and everything, it leaves like a shell of a film. And he was pissed off, man. He was really pissed off about it. And
ain't it funny? It's like Warner Brothers has been up to it for years. You know,
I'm telling you, like it is another one. And I've said it many times.
Chris Nolan's the only one that got lucky and got like 3 and out without getting touched.
Right.
You know what
right.
I mean? Like,
well, that last one is a little. I think that was more because of Heath Ledger passing away, and they had to figure out how to write it.
Yeah, that's. I agree.
But here's one, and I know that William, from my streams, will never agree with me, but it sits right here by my desk.
Nah, Howard the Duck.
Oh, hell yeah, man!
Howard the Duck, man. I'm sorry, I don't know how.
Before I knew it was Marvel.
No, I didn't know it was Marvel. I had no clue it was Marvel.
I loved that movie for years and had no clue. Yeah.
I'm sorry. This movie right here is a treasure, and it's the dumbest thing on the planet. You know, and I will call down more dark overlords from the next dimension. I need the code key. Right? It's so dumb. It's horrible. It's got a guy who became a pedophile. Like, I don't know what to say about this movie that hasn't been said already. But I mean, it's got duck boobs. I don't know. Like, it makes you feel all kinds of weird ways. But you know what?
It's got Leah Thompson in it, dude.
That's what I'm saying. It's got Leah Thompson in it, and I'm just saying, Leah Thompson is a national treasure herself. And I love that. Oh, you know what? I just realized I had sitting right here.
I still love Labyrinth, bro. I
got that sitting right here too. There. That tells you a little bit about me, man.
Pizza Hut edition?
No, I loved Willow.
No, it's the Taco Bell edition. Let me tell you. Hard copy, baby.
Willow.
See, Willow
was good.
But Labyrinth, I still love Labyrinth.
That was Val Kilmer.
Cool.
Val Kilmer was in Willow, dude. It gave us.
It was so hot. Like,
Jennifer Connelly made me hurt, man, when she was in that Opportunity Knocks movie. Oh my gosh!
God, dude.
Oh my gosh!
That's a great one too. That was the John Hughes one. That was great.
I don't think that I ever noticed a woman more than when I saw the previews for that movie.
Yeah, it's a big one for me too.
That was something, man.
Let's not all forget about
spend a night in a Target with Jennifer Connelly.
Yeah,
we all
I could think of worse things to do.
I'd be shop. I mean, first I'd shop the toy aisle, and then I'd be like, "Okay, Jennifer, let's go."
But even in Labyrinth, she had that like perfect, cute, innocent, like that's who you want to be your girlfriend look. You know, like she was like perfect back then. Dude.
That's the thing is like she was gorgeous, but like she was the type of girl like you wanted her to be. You could believe somehow that she would be your girlfriend.
Yeah, she had that homey look to her. You know, like approachable. You know, like
she had that homey look to her.
I still have the Rocketeer. Gave me the biggest crush of my lifetime with her. Like
Rocketeer.
Yeah. Oh, the Rocketeer, man.
Oh yeah, I forgot. Yeah.
Oh yes, another movie they're gonna ruin. They're gonna ruin the
they're gonna ruin the Rocketeer.
It's gonna be woke, Brian.
Making the woke.
Well, they already fought. They already fought. James Bond in that movie.
I think Career Opportunities, Paul. I think you might be right on that. Right? I think it was Career Opportunities, wasn't it? The actual name of that movie.
Oh yeah.
With her in the store overnight. I'd have to look it up. It's definitely in John Hughes.
Well, then there was some classics like Big, like anything with like the early Tom Hanks, like Turner and Hooch.
Yeah.
Yeah. Freaking Money Pit. Money Pit was a great.
Money Pit was great.
Yeah.
And when that tub falls through the floor and he just stands there and does that laugh. Like that, like, you know, like he's just losing it kind of, and he just gives up. Like, I'm just gonna laugh at it. Like, who cares? Like, he was hilarious back then, man. Like,
Red Dawn. Yeah, Neil, you're
Wolverines.
Right. Yeah, Red Dawn was great. Yeah.
Overboard.
Overboard. I still love Overboard to this day. That was a good one.
Kurt Russell. Oh man.
And then don't forget the Ray-Bans. That was the start of like Ray-Bans right there. With Roddy Piper putting them on. I've come to chew bubblegum and kick ass. I mean,
but I'm all out of bubblegum.
And I'm all
bubblegum.
I had that. I used to have that clip on my for a drop.
Yeah.
I had that that Piper drop for the longest time, and I would get away with it like with all of my streams, and then one night I got copyright claimed on it, and I was like, really? After all this time? Like, it was like months and months and months that I used it. Yeah, from They Live, and they yeah, it was crazy. I wasn't expecting it, but yeah, it.
Son of a bitch!
The Fletch films were so the Fletch dude when that was like the perfect role for Chevy Chase, because with him playing all the different personalities and shit, dude, it just like played into him as an actor perfect, dude. Like, I love when the dude shoots the window out and he's like, "Thanks a lot." Like, he's driving away. Like, he always had that sarcastic, like, over, like, oh my god.
Oh, Steve Martin movies like Planes, Trains, and Automobiles.
Planes, Trains.
Man. Gosh. I watch it like every Thanksgiving.
My favorite, most awkward moment from Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. Casio watch.
I was John Hughes too.
Oh god, who's here?
John Hughes did so many of those classics back then.
Those aren't pillows.
You know what movie that's current, that like more current, that reminds me of Planes, Trains, and Automobiles? It's like the same type of layout. Is the one with Robert Downey Jr. and Zach Galifianakis.
Due Date.
Due Date.
Yeah.
I can watch that over and over and over, dude. Like,
that's a good movie.
Oh my god,
so funny.
I think they said it's like a modern,
he flips the car off
kind
the
of
fucking...
flip on that.
Oh, really? Did they?
He falls asleep. Yeah,
it totally makes. Yeah, he's like, he comes walking in with the dog, like nothing's wrong with him. He's totally fine. Rod Day Jr. is like in a body cast. He's like, oh, the doctor said because I didn't tense up, I'm fine. Like.
Did they ever see the movie Heathers?
Yeah, I remember Heathers.
I remember the
Christian
movie
Slater.
Christian Slater was a badass back then, man. Like,
he was in Star Trek 6, man.
He was fucking Arkansas Dave Rudaball in Young Guns too. Like, that's a Young Guns. What was the one? Too, man, they were great too.
What was the one, guys? Was it It wasn't Dragon Slayer, was it? What was it? It was no, it was Dragon something. It was a guy, curly-haired blonde kid. He has to go and fight a dragon. I remember it's a classic, but I don't think it was Dragon Slayer. Hold on a second. It's gonna drive me nuts now because I remember seeing it as
the game.
Yeah, no, Dragon Slayer was the game. Hold on a second.
Paul Smith. I gotta give Paul Smith props on this one. I forgot about that. Gleam in the Cube. It was Christian Slater was like the skater. What was this story? Like the brother got killed or whatever, and he was.
You know what? It was Dragon Slayer.
Was it Dragon Slayer?
It's called Dragon Slayer. Yeah, it was called Dragon Slayer. Yeah, came out in 1981. It was the first movie to use Go Motion, a variant of stop motion animation in which parts of the model, in this case the dragon, were mechanized and the movement programmed by a computer. Mm-hmm. During shooting, the computer moves the model while the camera is shooting, resulting in motion blur, which makes the animation more convincing. That movie scared me the heck, man. I'll tell you, good movie. Like anybody who loves like dragon movies or like fairy tale movies or like medieval stuff, man. Good film. Good film.
Tron. Yeah.
Tron. I mean, come on, Tron.
The whole concept of Tron, and like I remember sitting in front of my Nintendo thinking like, suck me in. Like when I was like being a kid and thinking like I want to get sucked into the game.
I feel like I need to clip that.
Hey, go ahead.
Ill Life with his own clip for the Poindexter Lounge. I was just sitting in front of my Nintendo, just saying, "Suck me in." Like what?
Yeah, honestly, it might have even been Atari at the time. Thinking back, when
Right?
Tron was
Could have been
when
one
I
or
was
the
first
other.
seeing Tron. Yeah,
That's
As long as it wasn't ColecoVision. Good.
dude, I remember having my Atari.
I had my Intellivision, man. Intellivision had all the Tron games, man.
Yep. I think I had the 5200. I didn't have a 2600. I had the 5200 that had like the bigger controller with the foam pad and everything.
I remember playing Food Fight and stuff on Atari. I don't know if you ever played that
Dude,
game.
I had this rack that like I don't know what happened to it, but it'd probably be worth a fortune if I still had it now because I had like Empire Strikes Back on Atari 5200 and shit like that, you know, like. But it's like looking back, every game was like just a variation of the same exact 2D blocks, you know, like
all that stuff.
It wasn't really graphics back then. It was just the shape of the lines made the graphics, you know.
On floppy disks or floppy disks.
Yeah, that's what would be inside
Commodore,
basically.
Yeah, all that shit. Oh, so fun. All the fun stuff.
Yeah, Karate Kid movies definitely.
Karate Kid. I mean, God, we can go on for like ever with the 80s movies. It's
it
literally doesn't end. Because I'm like always like, oh crap, I forgot about this one.
There's a whole list. There's an entire decade's worth of films there. So
yeah, it's tons, man. And some I mixed some together.
Yeah, that was the 2600. Yeah.
I'm like, oh wait, am I thinking of a 90s movie or an 80s movie or like right on the cusp? Because there was just so many.
Gavin Cooley, I mean, it's not my favorite, but I very much love 3, and I'm very much looking forward to, what's his name with the villains from 3 are about to pop up. I think in Cobra Kai. Yes,
let's go.
Terry Silver and I think here's my theory. I think what's his name? Who was the kid that fought for Terry in part 3, the bad guy.
With the crew cut?
With the crew, yeah, the crazy dude.
He's gonna be in it. I don't remember his name though.
Because he joins, he gets a contract for half of Terry's business. Like they become business partners in part 3 for him to fight Daniel. And I think he is what's her name's dad.
What?
I think they're setting it up. Yeah, Tori. I think they're setting it up to make you think that Terry's her dad, but I think he's or Mike Barnes. That's his name, Mikey Barnes. I think he's her dad, and that's why Terry and hence what's his name are looking out for her, kind of because of Mike Barnes. I think he's going to come. Terry's going to come. Terry's going to be the bigger bad, and Mike Barnes is going to end up getting cool with Daniel and Johnny LaRusso and becoming a good guy, kind of, and reconnecting with Tori. I think that's what's going to happen, and that's my theory. And Terry Silver is going to be the big bad guy, kind of. But I heard he's being recast, though. I heard the original actor. Is he dead or something? The original actor? Is that why? I heard they're recasting it for some reason. Like the original dude that played Terry Silver isn't coming back.
But what you're saying, really, Ill Life, is everyone's going to come.
That's exactly what he said.
Now you're trying to make me walk into them now, man.
He's trying to get a drop.
Well, I got this one. I got this one so far.
I remember sitting in front of my Nintendo thinking, like, suck me in. Oh, man.
No, the actor's name is Thomas Ian Griffith, and it turns out he's actually going to reprise the role as Terry Silver in season 4.
Is he? Nice. Because he's awesome. He was, dude. That's why he's the reason I love part 3, because the whole him like pretending to train Daniel and making him punch the wood till his knuckles bleed and everything, and then he gets that like psycho laugh.
Okay.
Now he was a great villain. He really was. Like
he had the classic Seagal '90s hair with the slick back and the little tail.
With the tail. Yeah. RoboCop, Terminator, Alien, Scarface, Road Warrior. Oh, Mad Max. How can I forget the Mad Max? Oh my god. Yeah. Road Warrior was my favorite, probably. I think.
Yeah.
Karate Kid and the Donner Cut of Superman. So yep.
It's like a never-ending story. Even though we said chuckles.
That was on Nicotina's thing the other night. There was, what was it, Never Ending Story versus something, because they were doing like which franchise would you
choose? He was like keep it or lose, and I'm like, come on, you can't lose.
Yeah. And like me and Phil were the only ones that voted for Never Ending Story on that one. I forget what the other. Goonies. He put Never Ending Story against Goonies, and I picked Never Ending Story.
Man, I am not a fan of the Goonies.
It's one of those movies I've seen too many times.
There was do you remember the movie with Sean Astin they did in the 80s? They were like in a like a private school, and like an army kind of takes over.
Oh, the Brat Patrol.
Is that it?
Yeah, buddy.
Yeah,
they were kids at a military base.
School. Yeah,
military base. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I love that movie.
Yeah, right.
Oh, man. Like I watched that with like Chip the War Dog or whatever the hell.
Mm-hmm.
It was on like back in the day we had these things called recorded cassettes. Yes. And it would and if you did it on super long play, you could put like 4 movies on one cassette. It was like that. I had
to be a little fuzzier.
One that was like it was like home movies, Superman 2, and then like Around the World in 80 Days. So this is some of the weirdest combinations. The other one, and I'll remember this forever because it was Return of the Jedi, the network television premiere. It had with commercials from like 1990 or whatever, and then Top Gun and Dirty Dancing. So it's like that's like it's the 80s cassette.
Yeah, I have a bunch like that still probably in my storage. I think I remember like you were saying, like one would be like Demolition Man, and then like fucking a couple episodes of Gem. You know what I mean? There's like different members of the household, you know, like random shit, like 3 episodes of Days of Our Lives, and then like Superman 3. You know what I mean?
Oh man,
those were the days.
Yeah, right.
Oh. Taps. I'm trying to remember.
I don't remember Taps.
What was Taps? Tom Cruise.
I just remember the one about, what was it? The football one.
Yeah.
Going all the way or something like that.
What was the one where he fought like some weird devil dude? Like he was like in some kind of like mystical world.
Oh, Legend, right?
Legend, yeah. So I don't remember. Legend. It could be. Who knows? I just remember seeing that. That was another one of those Saturday afternoon movies.
Yeah, the dude looked like Trigon. The bad guy.
He did look like Trigon.
Like the demon dude. Yeah.
Born on the 4th of July, 1989. That was a good movie. That's probably my favorite.
That was my intro into Oliver Stone, kind of as a youngin. You know, like.
Yeah.
Mine was.
Well, that was profound stuff, especially like. The true life chronicle of the soldier. That was pretty impressive. Military.
What do you think? Digital ill life.
I think he's gonna come. Terry's gonna come. Terry's gonna be the bigger bad. I think he's gonna come. Terry's gonna come. Terry's gonna be the bigger bad.
Oh man. You've made it. You're a lounge clip.
There you go.
What's up, Truth? Hey, Truth, man. What's up?
What's up, Truth?
What's up?
Oh wait, here's a fun fact. Legend was directed by Ridley Scott. Really? I had no idea. That's pretty crazy.
How about the Monster Squad? Did anybody ever watch the Monster Squad?
Oh, Monster Squad, dude! Wolfman don't got nards.
Wait, what's is that? Was that? I was thinking Little Monsters. What's the one with Fred Savage?
That's Fred Savage. Little Monsters.
Yeah, I love that one. Yeah.
Monster Squad is totally different. That's where the kids.
Yeah, Monster Squad's the one where they fight, like they fight them all.
Fighting
again, right? Like Dracula, and I love that. Was great. Yeah,
one thing about the 80s that was really cool was the sports movie, like football movies.
Oh God! Yeah.
Does anybody remember the movie Wildcats?
Yes, that's with Goldie Hawn.
Yeah, I freaking love that movie.
Yeah, that's where she's the coach.
Wesley Snipes was one of the players. Yes. Woody Harrelson.
Yeah, man.
Oh yeah, dude! Like that movie was great.
There's one that a lot of people.
What was the one with Kurt Russell and Robin Williams? That was another one from the 80s. God damn it!
Crap stick.
Crap on a stick.
Oh, come on.
Remember.
Darn it. But no, there was a lot of like really decent football movies that took place.
There was good ice
sports feel good type. Hoosiers was a good one. Like sports feel good movies. Like, oh man.
Rob Lowe.
Yeah. Like dramatic ends. Like I'll tell you, what was another one I really loved that like as a kid was I'm pretty sure I think River Phoenix was in it too. Or maybe I don't think I stand by, but what's the Explorers, right? Where they take the tilt-a wheel. cart from the carnival and build a spaceship out of it, and like it actually goes to fucking space. Like
I freaking love that movie, man.
They take like vacuum parts and shit, and like a home computer, and like build like an 80s computer.
Oh, that was wasn't that The Outsiders?
No, but that had people from The Outsiders in it. The Outsiders was about greasers.
A little kid.
Oh, that's right. That's right. What was it? But that was
Outsiders was based off the book.
Yeah.
Couldn't remember.
What was that?
Outsiders was shit.
What the heck was that though? That was it was something like that. The Explorers. Yeah,
the Explorers.
Like Youngblood. That was a good one.
Mm-hmm.
No,
Youngblood. Oh yeah, hockey. Yeah.
What was that wrestling movie with the wrestling movie with what's his face? Oh god darn it. Mm-hmm. I liked that movie a lot. It had Lunatic Fringe was like the theme song from that movie.
So we're going 80s wrestling movie.
Oh yeah.
Oh crap.
Oh, dude, all the marbles, all those wrestling movies with like Hulk Hogan.
Oh, I've got a guilty pleasure. It's Thor: The Dark World.
Yeah, I mean, hey, that counts. It definitely does.
I like it more than the third Thor movie.
Vision Quest.
Oh my god!
That kind of wrestling
with the guy, who's dating the older chick.
Yeah. That was Linda Fiorentino from Dogma.
Mm-hmm. Man.
And Men in Black.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's right.
Wow, remember
she's in both of those movies.
Do you remember My Bodyguard?
Anybody remember that? I remember The Bodyguard with
No. My Bodyguard. It was about a kid, and I remember watching this as a kid. It was a movie. It was a popular movie too. It's about this kid. He's like a scrawny little nerd kid, and he gets picked on by this gang of guys. And this like quiet kind of like dude that like is this big dude like that everybody thinks is just a bully, but he's not. He befriends him because the kid stands up for himself or something like that, and like so then they end up teaming up, and he strikes a deal with the big kind of dumb guy, and they learn from each other or whatever, but he becomes the kid's bodyguard basically at school. And I'm trying to think of who was in that movie.
So
I just came across it not too long ago again, and I remembered. I was like, oh my god, I remembered that movie as a kid. I watched that so many times as a kid. There was that. There was another movie that I was thinking about, but that was a good movie though. That was a good movie. Have you ever seen Alligator?
Oh hell yeah! You know where it comes to New York through the sewers and dude. Yeah! When I was scared of my toilet for years because of that movie. Dude.
Didn't want to jump in the swimming pool, man, because there's that one scene where the kids are like, "We're gonna put this blindfolded kid in the swimming pool," and he's like, "There's nothing in the swimming pool. Don't worry about it." There's this giant 40-foot alligator in the freaking swimming pool, and
it terrorizes the city.
No, you want to talk horrible practical effects? Oh my gosh, man!
It was like popping out of people's shower drains and shit.
There's a tail that would just come towards the screen. It was like
see blood fly.
Oh, it was bad, but it was awesome. It was awesome though. That's a guilty pleasure right there. That entire movie's on YouTube, by the way. You could watch that movie anytime.
I'll tell you what. The ones I was talking about, Tough Turf and The Wraith, I think are both on there right now.
Really?
If you look, a lot of the 80s movies you can find on there. Like, I don't know why they're allowed to get away with it. Like, not even in the free movie section, but just like if you search the name of the movie, you know what I mean? Dude, Green Street Hooligans is in there free. Like, if you search Green Street Hooligans, there's a full version of the movie that's perfectly good in English. And that's like, I love that movie. That's like one of my favorite indie films. Like,
and you guys ever
there's Charlie Hunnam in his badass young British days, like you guys
ever watched The Toy from back in the day?
Yes. Yeah. Oh, that movie would never be made today.
Dude.
Yeah.
That movie would never.
I know.
Right? No, never. And then there was another one that he did with. I think
you could say that about so many 80s movies.
Yeah, but like I just watched a video on that not too long ago because somebody was talking about The Toy with Richard Pryor. And they were just talking about like, you would never make a movie nowadays about a white privileged kid owning a black guy.
No,
oh god.
What about what was that, Soul Man? You remember Soul Man?
Oh my god!
Oh my god!
I love that movie. That's a classic. That is a great
movie. Was in blackface.
It really is hilarious.
Oh no!
Oh man, so bad. so bad.
Right, Paul?
Terrible.
See No Evil, Hear No Evil was a good one. I enjoyed that one. That's with Gene Wilder or whatever that guy from Willy Wonka.
Gene Wilder.
Yeah, See No Evil, Hear No Evil. The blind guy, he plays a blind guy, and then I think Pryor was blind, and then Wilder was deaf. I think it was like one or the other. I might have it mixed up, but that movie cracked me up as a kid. I remember.
Well, they were a good duo, Pryor and Wilder. They were good.
What? No, what?
Just cracked that movie. Still crack me up.
Oh, the early Beverly Hills Cop movies. I mean,
yeah. You'd feel for the banana and the tailpipe.
48 Hours was another one.
Yeah.
Another 48 Hours.
Another 48 hours. That's coming there.
Right. Right. And early Seagal movies like
48 Hours Later.
Yeah, 48 Hours Later, starring David Wayne Jr.
I love Seagal had the worst run ever. Dude, like you're not allowed to run movies.
Dude, Hard to Kill was my shit. Like I watched Hard to Kill over and over. Like the storyline was so good about him having the son and him being in the coma and all. Like out of all those cheesy action movies, it had such a good storyline. That one, I thought, what was that? The second, right? That was the second in the Seagal franchise, right? It was above the ball, Hard to Kill.
Dude, Under Siege was kick ass, dude. I loved Under Siege.
Yeah, that was like the fifth or something. Yeah, that was good though. And I like Mark for Death too. That was the one with the Jamaicans, right? Where he went up against like the Jamaican dudes or whatever. That was a good one. Like
he can really kick the crap out of people. That guy is badass.
Like Hard to Kill. He does the pull ball and the sock. Like, come on,
his hands. Like watching that guy fight with his hand. Oh my god!
And he gets that face like he's like, and just is like fucks them up real quick.
Just badass.
What? Yeah.
He was badass.
That's when action movies were action movies, man.
Yeah. Oh no, yeah. You can't beat 90s action. You really can't. Double Impact, all that stuff.
I'll have to check that out entirely.
Which one was the one with DMX in it?
I'm a huge Idol fan. What movie?
It was
there's a lot. He's been in a few.
It was DMX and Steven Seagal.
Yeah, I know you're talking about. I don't remember which one exactly. I get them crossed up sometimes because I think he did another one with someone else, Seagal. Or was that the same movie?
Yeah, I don't think DMX was in one with Seagal, was he?
Or was it Van Damme?
What, with Seagal? No, I can't remember his name.
DMX had one with Jet Li.
He was in Assault on Precinct 13, and he was one of the inmates with Leguizamo, and I can't remember the rapper's name. Oh, someone
Exit Wounds.
That's it. That's what you're talking about.
Yep.
Yarp. I read all the books that all those like DMX like the movies he did. Like I read all the novel. Like before they became movies, they were books. They were novels, and like when I was in juvie, they were like in the library, where I was in juvie at, and I like read them all. Like so, when those movies came out, I knew all the stories already. Yeah, Cradle to the Grave, Exit Wounds, all those. I read all those books before they became movies.
It's funny looking at the picture.
We didn't have a big selection in lockup.
He got the big old goatee on his Google photo. You think like a sheriff or something like that now?
I can see that.
That was a good one.
But gents, I actually have to bounce out. I have to get myself to bed. I have to bounce out, everybody.
Bet.
Yeah.
All right, man. It's
really awesome talking with you. Awesome to be on here, and I will be checking.
Everybody go follow Neil, subscribe to Neil.
Yeah, come check it out, everybody. All right. I'll see everybody later on, yo.
Later.
Right,
peace
out.
Wait,
you're muted, Enosh.
Oh, Enosh, you're muted. Can you hear us?
He's like, I know one second, I can't figure it.
I was saying Neil and I are working on secret shenanigans that nobody knows about. So yeah, we've had talks. His people have talked to my people, and we're just negotiating price at this point.
Put two and two together.
What was the one I keep this one keeps popping in my head that I remember watching a lot, and I can't remember what it was, but where the kid has the piss and the water pistol on the big wheel, and he's like, "There's no water in this gun," And the bully kid's like, "What's in it?" And he's like, "Piss," and shoots him with it. What movie was that? Was it? I feel like it had something to do with a wagon for some reason.
I don't want to confuse it with Radio Flyer.
But I think it's something like that. I think for some reason I'm associating the title like it was like a dramedy. If I'm like, it was a big time movie. You know what I mean?
Oh, Problem Child. Yeah.
No, it wasn't. It wasn't.
Was it John Ritter?
Yeah, Problem Child was good.
That's gonna drive me nuts until I remember it now. But
what was that one with the remote? Stay Tuned.
Stay Tuned was awesome, dude.
Yeah,
I love that movie.
Yeah.
Oh, dude.
Stay Tuned was awesome. You know another John Ritter that was good was Hero for Hire. Have you ever seen Hero for Hire?
Is that the one where he's kind of like a superhero kind of thing?
Yep.
I've heard of it, but
he's called Captain Avenger. I have it. I've got a DVD of it, dude. We could do a watch party of it. It is awesome, dude. It's John Ritter. He plays this guy who can't keep a job down, and they have this comic book character called Captain Avenger. And so like the city like hires all these people for Captain Avenger Day or whatever, and there's like a float and everything. And so they have all these different Captain Avengers all throughout the city. And he gets off of his shift and he's been working and everything. And so he comes in and he goes into this party store. And the party store gets robbed, and like he puts on his glasses as Captain Avenger, and he ends up thwarting the whole thing, and so he ends up becoming the Captain Avenger. Like everybody looks at him as the Captain Avenger, and it's like all the stress that's on him and stuff, and he gets all this publicity and everything. It's a really good movie. John Ritter, man,
John Ritter was a legend. I miss John Ritter.
He was cool.
Good God,
John Ritter
man.
was good.
That takes you down like a whole other rabbit hole of sitcoms, man.
Simple
Sitcoms.
Rules. That show was amazing with him in it.
Oh, I liked it when he came. I liked it when he came in on Scrubs as JD's dad.
Yeah.
I was one of them people that like miss Scrubs. Like I just didn't get into it for some reason at the time when it was out, and I never went back to it or anything. I don't know. Which is weird because I usually like NBC comedies. Like I'm an Office fan, I'm a Seinfeld fan, I'm a Parks and Rec fan. Like I've watched 30 Rock, whatever. But
it's kind of like when they were transitioning from like the traditional sitcom into the more like single shot type show,
like third person, like documentary style, mock you, I guess.
Yeah, kind of like the mockumentary style of The Office was different than like your traditional.
It was really groundbreaking, like in the first place when they started doing it that way, because it was a good way to like, I don't know, it gave a new element to the comedy that it didn't have before. I felt like, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely.
It almost did something that it back in the day, it was the live audience did something for it, and it's like this was a way to do it without the live audience, but still make it feel that way, kind of, you know, like it had that same element to it, like. It's cool to think about shit like that as it evolved through history. You know, that's one thing being the age I am, which I don't want to fully disclose, but you know, watching a lot of like how entertainment has evolved over the years.
Because
cool,
I mean,
you know, I mean, like,
yeah, I was talking about the other night, like rabbit ears. Switching the TV over from UHF to VHF. You know what I mean? Like, I haven't have it on channel 3 or 4 or whatever you had it on to get your, you know, video game to work. Like those were the days that having to get up and change the channel.
Yeah.
What the heck?
Wait, I gotta go from 17 to 57.
You had to get pliers to move the top one because it was so tough. It's like it's like turning off a water main.
That TV was literally its own piece of furniture back then in the
console TV. You know what I mean? Like, dude, some of those were sweet, man. Like
they had speaker systems built into the sides and everything. Yeah, dude. And you got like basically like a full like mantle for the living room. Like it's like a fireplace too or something, you know, like to put shit on top of. Like
before legitimate like flat screen TVs, who remembers flat screen giant
TV? God, dude.
Oh, projection TVs.
Oh, dude.
I had one in my old apartment that had the full, I mean, this thing was like, I think it was like a 68-inch or 72-inch or something.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. And it had the full tube back.
Yeah.
And to get it into my old apartment, we literally had to back my work van diagonal in the street across the sidewalk to my living room window, take my living room window out of the frame, and then like hoist it up with ropes and shit to the window frame, slide it in, and then have like 6 guys on the inside to like lift it through the window. When I left my apartment, it's still sitting in the living room. I mean, I'm sure they got rid of it now, but when I moved out, I was like, fuck it, I'm leaving that thing. Like, you know, I'll pay the security deposit, whatever it costs.
The worst thing about those TVs is you couldn't see anything unless you were sitting like directly in front of it.
Yes.
Like you were sitting like a foot off to the side or a foot off to the side. Like you could see half the color on the TV and it was all weird.
Yeah, like once they had the projection ones, you mean? Like,
oh yeah, no, it was
the one I'm talking about actually had a glass screen still. Like, it was an actual tube. But it was a big screen. It had like a built-in entertainment center in the bottom.
Exactly. Yeah, that's what we had for the longest time.
It was like up to my chin standing up, and I'm 6 foot. Yep. So like that's how tall. Like with the shelves that were built into the bottom of it and all, it was fucking gigantic, dude. It was so heavy.
The sound system in there and everything. Yeah.
Yeah, like when I put it in the work van, like the back, like fucking. The frame of the van was almost hitting the tires once we put it in the back of the work van, you know, like that's how heavy the fucking thing was, dude.
Right.
Dang.
That's wild.
But yeah, those projection TVs that would have like that shaky plexi cover on them, like the screen was like that shaky plexi shit. Remember, my boy had one of them.
My brother
and you're
had
right.
one.
Like if you were trying to play Madden or something and you were at the wrong angle of the living room, it's basically like everybody else was cheating because you couldn't see anything. Right?
They were playing the fog bowl. It was like, what the?
Yeah. You're like seeing the football pixelated as you pass it and shit. Like, it's horrible, dude. Like, and it had like that cross hashing in the plastic that it was, I guess, like was supposed to give it like the 3-dimensional effect, kind of, but it ruined it. Unless you're right, like unless you were dead center on the TV, it ruined it. Like,
yeah.
You couldn't just like cat a corner one of them and throw people anywhere in the room. Like everyone had to be centered on it, you know. Like
we're all sitting in the love seat, not even the couch, just the 2-seater.
Everybody's on the floor in front of you and shit. Yeah. Dude, I remember like my bedroom TV back. I mean, I remember for a long time, like my parents had the color TV downstairs, and then like our bedroom TVs were black and white. You know what I mean? And I remember like literally hooking my Nintendo. My NES 1 to like the black and white TV, and I had to get the little rabbit ear adapter that went on the 2 screws and then had the cable and thing to hook the Nintendo plug to, you know, like
for the coax. Oh, I loved it.
The coax, yeah.
Those were the days, man. Like
playing Duck Hunt in black and white and shit.
Dude, Rad Racer. Oh, dude.
Excite Bike was my.
Excite Bike was
I would play. It's so crazy looking back that like I would play Excite like games like that all day on end, like trying to beat it, trying to get to that last race and going back and starting over when I
trying not to overheat.
Oh yeah.
Dude, me and my friends, I remember like with the old, like the original NHL and Madden and all that shit where like it didn't have seasons or anything yet. Like we used to keep like marble notebooks of like who played who, like, and we'd make our own, you know, like kids do online
Blades of Steel.
Now, yeah, Blades of Steel. Like we would make our own schedules up and do seasons ourselves and shit and like write it all down in a notebook.
Heck yeah.
And shit, you know
Heck yeah.
Like,
that was
double
stuff,
dribble. Man, that was.
I still play double dribble to this day, man. I got my old Nintendo, man, still set up.
Remember ice hockey? Like the first ice hockey? And like you would get in a fight and they would just like mush into like a cartoon, like, you know, like you like nudge them a couple times with the hockey stick, and then all of a sudden they'd be like, and they like mush. That was like the fight, you know, like the 2-dimensional guys would just like mosh together in like a dirt pile, kind of like.
Right.
But it was still so exciting. Like nothing better existed at the time. So it's
like real life, man.
Yeah, it was like real life. Like you're sitting there like, I gotta win this game, you know? Like,
well, you just be pushing the buttons, dude. You just be like, like, you know, just manically pressing the buttons, just hoping to one up your friend, man. Like he's gonna do something.
And the rest of the day you're salty at your brother. You're just like
then you throw the controller, you're just like, screw this, man. You suck.
Early rage quit.
I'll never forget when like on the Super Nintendo when the original Star Trek trilogy came out, like the Star Wars Empire and Return of the Jedi games on Super Nintendo.
Super Star Wars.
Dude, me and my brothers would play like we would literally like, what? It's nighttime now all of a sudden, because like we would never stop playing those games, dude. Like,
dude, I've got that.
Fun.
I bought an upright arcade game that has 300 games on it. It's got a bunch of old Super Nintendo games on it, Atari games on it, stuff like that, and it's got the entire Star Wars trilogy on it from Super Nintendo.
Nice, dude.
Yep, and it's got Tron. Just saying,
dude,
it's got Tron. That's why I bought it. That's why I bought it, because an actual upright Tron game like is ridiculously expensive. And so like I was in Sam's Club when I found it around Christmas time last year, and I was just like, I have to have that. It was like $300, and I was just like, oh my god, I gotta have it. How am I gonna get it? How am I gonna get it? How am I gonna get it? And like I called my wife, and I'm like, Tiff, hey, you know how I've always wanted a Tron, right? And she's like, well, yeah. And I'm like, well, here's the deal. I could either go out and spend $6,000 on it one day, or
300 now.
I got 300 games, and I can download a bunch of other games onto this thing.
That's fucking cool.
And I get Tron. What do you think? And she's like, that's your Christmas present. And I'm like, okay,
but do you ever regret not being able to just sit and play it? Like, do you have to stand at the machine? Like...
Heck no, baby. I love it too, because like that game, like, because it's got 300 games in it, it's got all the controllers in it you can want. It's got your regular joystick. It's got like all your buttons and stuff for like all your fighting game stuff. It's got the roller ball. It's got the little turn thing. The only thing I don't like about it is you know how the original Tron had like the big joystick controller, for your game, right? So you don't have that. You have to use like the little spin thing and something, and like another little thing to do it with. But I talked to a guy who told me he can rig it. So eventually I'm getting this thing redone. But that's the only thing.
Would it like put a bar stool at it? Like when you play it? Yeah.
Well, I've got 5 arcade games.
Oh, okay.
Cool. I've got an original Miss Pac-Man that I retrofitted. Tiffany actually for a birthday a couple years ago. She had a friend get the 65 pack where there's like 65 games in it. So I've got like all the classic arcade games, dude, on that Miss Pac-Man. Awesome. Every version of Pac-Man, because the one that I love, because it was a standalone Miss Pac-Man arcade game, right? And so, but I love the high speed one. That's the one that I love. That's the one that I jam out to, because I've been playing Miss Pac. Talk about the 80s, dude. That's what I spent my 80s doing, was playing Miss Pac-Man. More so than Pac-Man even. I love Pac-Man, but Miss Pac-Man
had better laid
Miss
out.
Pac-Man was where it was at back in the day, dude. Like, and we can talk about arcade games in the 80s, man. And arcades, holy crap, that's a whole other thing in the 80s. But so I had that. Tiffany got me the 65 pack, whatever, and so like I was playing that. Well, then they've been doing these one-up arcade game things. You can get them at Walmart and different stores, whatever. And they did the Star Wars trilogy. And so I was like, Tiff, I need that, man. I need that. So like I got the Star Wars trilogy thing for that. And then I've had for years a Superman upright arcade game. Do you remember the Superman upright arcade game? It literally plays the John Williams theme. You have a blue Superman and a red Superman if you play 2-player or whatever. It's fantastic. It's fantastic. And so I've had that for years, but it wasn't working. And so like I took it in just a few months ago. The guy who works on my stuff, it took me forever to find a guy to work on upright arcade games, because all the places around here that sell them or do whatever, they won't work on yours. Like if you didn't buy it from them and you don't plan on buying from them, they don't do service. So like for years, like dude, it sucked, man. My Miss Pac-Man sat for probably 2 or 3 years, because like one night I was playing, and all of a sudden, like I stopped playing and it was just sitting in the corner. I was doing something else, and all of a sudden I saw this light haze above my basement that was like floating, because something had burned. And like if I hadn't unplugged it would have all burned down. Like it was like something shorted out or whatever. And it took forever to find a guy, but I finally found this guy, and I talked to him on the phone, and this guy is hilarious. I love this guy. I told Tiffany when I got off the phone, she's like, well, can he fix it? And I said, he says, yeah, he works on it. He says, yeah, bring it on over. And I said, she goes, well, that's really nice. Like, is he a nice guy? And I said, yeah. I said, but it's kind of funny. He sounds like he's got a mustache. And she looks at me, she goes, what does that mean? And I said, he sounds like he's got a mustache. Like he sounds like Sam Elliott. Like that's exactly what he sounded like. He was like, I swear to God, he's just like, well, yeah, go ahead and bring that right on over, and I'll take a look at it for you. Right. And I was just like, okay, I swear to God, I get over there, Dude has long shoulder length hair, like bright white. Looks like Sam Elliott. Got this huge freaking mustache that comes down to here, like Sam Elliott, just
handlebars,
just full. Yeah, he's smoking a cigarette. He looks like a smoker. You know what I mean? Like he's just like rough hands. He's got this white shirt that's like unbuttoned, like down,
Marlboro
like
man.
Yeah, he's the Marlboro man. Man, he's just like, yeah, I'll take a look at your Miss Pac, man. Therefore, it shouldn't be too much. I'm like, well, how much is it going to cost? It ain't going to cost that much. Don't worry about it. And I'm like, well, I kind of need to know. He's like,
we all cool, Daddy.
It's like, no, man, it don't worry about it. It ain't going to cost that much. I'll get it fixed for you. No problem at all. I've seen that time and time again. Don't worry. I'll get it done for you. He's like, you got any other games? I'm like, well, I got the Superman game. He's like, oh, yeah, bring that over. I'll fix that for you, too. I'm like, and I told him, I said, I need a new controller on. He's like,
he sounds like a character in a Quentin Tarantino movie.
It's like, I got controllers all over the place. I get that fixed for you. Last time I got my Superman thing fixed just recently, and I brought it, I went to go get it, and like he's talking, he's like, you know, because the Superman one doesn't have all the graphics on it. It just has the graphic up at the top because it wasn't a Superman game. I actually bought it from a guy in Toronto that I had to go to Toronto and get this thing. That was a whole other mess of a story. But the thing is that when I got it, it doesn't have any of the artwork on it. And so like I go over to see it, and he's like, yeah, man. He's like, you bring that back in the springtime, and I got a guy. He'll do all the artwork for you real cheap. Man, you can have it just looking just like the arcade back in the day. We'll refit the whole thing. Maybe throw on 500 more games on there or whatever. Be like $100. No big deal. You just bring that back, man. We'll see. And he's like telling me like about like a road trip. He's like, yeah, me and my family, we just, we hopped into Winnebago and west for a while. Don't mind the dog. She's
I want to like have a drink with this guy.
Right? It's exactly, man. And the funny thing is, the first time we walked, we drove away because the guy looked like Sam Elliott. You know what I mean? And Sam Elliott is just cool, man. And so we walked away. We get in the car, and Tiffany goes, I know exactly what you mean. Yes, he sounds like a mustache. That's exactly what he sounds like. Like that's all I can picture now. And so every time I'm like, hey, I got to take the game to. I've had to get a couple things fixed for him a couple times, and I'm just like, hey, I got to take the game to what's his name? And she's just like, oh, you got to take it to Mustache? Okay, all right, yeah, that's fine. Go take it. So I got that one, and then I got I bought Tiffany bought me last year. She bought me a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 1-up game that has the first game and then the Turtles in Time game. And so now, I got like 5 in there. And then I bought this
first one. I played that to death.
Yeah, man. Heck yeah. And then I bought this 300 game upright thing that's like arcade classics or whatever. And it's just, so now, man, we have parties in there. We got this little room in there that's like all decked out. And when you turn them all on and you turn off the lights, like we got like a stop, like the stoplights, it's like red, blue, green. Like we got that up on the wall. Nice. We got some other stuff on the wall, like some different decorations.
That
and
feels
stuff.
like an 80s arcade.
Yeah, dude, we got like Pac-Man Funkos, like up there, and like a who was the little orange guy who jumped on everything. You know what I'm talking about in the 80s
Hubert.
Arcade game? Hubert. Yeah, we got a Hubert guy. Yeah. Like we got all these, fun like video game guys, whatever. And so it's just a fun little room. And so, man, but you turn off the lights in there and you just listen to it. And it's my own little personal place of heaven, because if you lived in the 80s, you were a kid in the 80s and you ever went to the arcade was a magical thing, dude. Yes. It was a magical place.
And also because back then, I mean, I'd argue to say now it's gotten to a point where in a lot of cases, except for a couple exceptions game wise, like it's gotten to the point where shit at home's better than what's in the arcade a lot of times. But back then it was the total opposite. The home versions were the watered down version of what you were getting in the arcade, dude, I remember the Mortal Kombat 1 machine. We had this pool hall in my neighborhood. It was called Basement Billiards. It was under the 73rd Street bowling alley, and there was 2 arcade machines in there. And when Mortal Kombat came out, that became the second one. We got so heated in that place playing this thing that it got to the point where the pool table that was near the machine, the guy, it was my buddy's uncle, ran the place, and he just shut it down. Like we all played pool there too. We had leagues and stuff, but the Mortal Kombat machine was like, it became like a dice circle. You know what I mean? Like literally, like one guy would be there to hold the money on the bets, and two of us would be, you know, people would be betting money on other people's fights and shit like that. Like it got insane, dude, to where like we had our own section reserved and like 30 people would be standing around the machine waiting for next and shit like that. Like it was insane, dude. Like they'll never be able to capture that again in a go somewhere, not doing, you know, shit's gotten too good at home now, you know, that experience is lost. That's one thing I love about the Shore though. Like over here, we have the Jersey Shore, you know, like everybody from Philly goes there for vacation, and I take my family to Wildwood every year. And that's one thing like that the Jersey, like I don't really like the state of Jersey that much. No offense, Ryan or anybody else. So I just have bad experiences there, but the Shore is magical. And it's like going through a time portal to the 80s every time you go there. Like nothing, like the boardwalk still feels like the boardwalk when I was 10 years old. The arcades still, except for the new games being added, they still have the old ones. It still feels like the atmosphere still, everything still feels like the 80s when you go to the Shore. You know, even the hotels all still have that same look, but they just update them but keep them looking like the 70s basically and shit. Like it's great. It's like a magical thing, you know. It really is. Like
that's awesome.
And the arcades especially, it's like you go down the boardwalk and it's like every pier has like 4 different arcades as you're going down the boardwalk, you know. And it's not even exclusive to the town I go to. It's like the whole shoreline is towns of different, you know what I mean, different sections of areas not at the Shore go to different sections of the Shore, you know. And like Wildwood just happens to be like where I grew up area of the Shore basically, you know. But then there's other ones along the coast where people go and stuff, you know. Like
right.
Wait, what did Ryan say? I knew Ryan was going to say something because I said I didn't like Jersey. I'm from Philly, Ryan. What do you expect? But he's from North Jersey. I'm talking about like Southeast Jersey. It's not the same. Like he's from New York, Jersey. I'm talking about like Philly suburbs, Jersey. You know what I mean? Like it's two, South Jersey and North Jersey are like two different things. One's Philly side, one's New York side. You know, like
right.
Integrity 101. Just good for you, Integrity. I didn't get to go this year. I was strapped up with work and everything. I couldn't go. It sucked.
Well, I do have to get going as well. I gotta.
As do I. Yeah, I gotta get.
Yeah, I was gonna get wrapping up soon anyway.
Sounds good. Okay.
Yeah, it's getting late.
Cool.
Yeah, unfortunately, I gotta go to work tomorrow too. So. But yeah, this was cool. Which we ended up throwing out a lot more movies than I thought we were going to, honestly.
It's good times, man. It's always fun talking about movies like that because you know, you never know where it's gonna go, you know.
Oh, that's what I said last week. I pretty much devoted the whole episode to going after Warner Brothers because I was so pissed about all the shenanigans with the Blu-ray and everything, you know. So I was like, this week I'm just gonna make up some topic that we can talk about and not be stressed out about their incompetence and Dr. Fate. Wait,
mission accomplished, bro.
Dr. Fate. Who is my favorite Spider-Man? That's definitely Andrew Garfield.
Yep.
Yeah,
if you
watch some of the past streams, you'll definitely see that. Yeah, Andrew
Garfield. Say it's Casali.
You know what's funny? I watched somebody put a tweet out today saying that like Andrew Garfield was the best, right? And I tweeted back like, "Yes, you're awesome," whatever, you know. And it made me put me in the mood to watch part 1. I watched part 1 like a few hours ago, right? And like all of a sudden, this epitome came to me that I was like, "How come no one's ever mentioned Andrew Garfield for Nightwing? Because he'd be awesome." You know, going back and watching that movie,
dude,
and, like seeing when he's in Peter Parker mode, you know, like I could totally see him as Dick Grayson in Nightwing. And I never
real
though.
Wow,
just now too, so I guess that would be pretty good.
Yeah. I mean, if he doesn't end up coming back as Spider-Man, you know, hopefully he's coming back with Sony. That's my fingers are crossed for, but we'll see.
Dude,
I still want what's his name, Milo Ventimiglia. Like, I loved him on Heroes. I loved him on Heroes, and I think he would make a great Nightwing.
Are you
even now? I feel like I might have heard that.
Talking about Peter? Is that Peter?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, he'd be pretty good.
I think even now that he's older, even like he could make a great older Nightwing. Like,
I always thought the dude from I'm trying to think of what else he's been in, but I know he's in that movie American Assassin with Michael Keaton.
Oh, Dylan
O'Brien.
Dylan O'Brien. I always thought he'd be good too. Yeah, he has that like what I picture him looking like in the comic books, you know. But I think, looking at Andrew Garfield though, when I was watching Amazing Spider-Man, I thought to myself like, if he just put a little weight on, you know, like went through a Zack Snyder workout regimen.
He is a bit skinny,
like, he'd be good to go. He'd be an awesome Nightwing, dude. Like, but yeah, so everybody, you guys want to go around, let everybody know where to find you before we close out?
Sure.
Go ahead, Austin, you go first, and then we'll go around that way.
Well, yeah, you can find me at AlienLV on Twitter and Instagram now. It's the same username at AlienLV, and I'm on the Pop Culture Corner on a daily basis. So, and then Monday nights I have my show Lean on Me, 7 or 10:30 Eastern Standard. So check that out.
Yeah, I think I'll be on there tomorrow, right?
Yep.
Just making sure.
Yes, you will.
Brian.
Yeah, you can find me on my YouTube channel, Brian Master of None. Getting real close to 200 subscribers, so every little bit helps. So yeah, come on down. I talk a lot of Star Trek and all that good stuff. I'm on the lounge whenever I can be on there with Mr. Enosh, and I'm also on there with Mad Max on Movie Madness Entertainment. As much as I can be. Yeah, so I'm kind of everywhere. So
Awesome. Yeah. Enosh.
I'm gonna start shaming people because listen to me. Listen, Ill Life, can you blow me up for a second?
Oh God!
Yeah. Can you blow me up for a second?
I was like, what did I do?
Let me tell you something. I'm gonna start shaming people.
Yeah. Hold on a sec. I'm trying to figure out how to blow you up.
Yeah, you just hover over my picture.
Press all the buttons.
Yeah, just hover over my picture. That's square. There it is. There you go. You listen to me, viewers. I love you all. I love you all with a passion. But the fact that Brian Master of None has not even hit 2 subscribers.
Wow.
200 subscribers yet is a travesty to man.
You know what happens?
Yeah. No. It don't happen. Not with quality content like my friend Brian. My friend Brian, that guy is one of the most just loyal, sweetest, nicest. I get it. Y'all Doomcock lovers don't love this guy. Okay. I get it. All you fandom ministers don't love this guy, but you all, you know who you are. You haven't subscribed to Brian Master of None yet. Please, from my heart, no joke. All jokes aside, you need to subscribe to Brian Master of None. That man is putting out genuine, heartfelt content of stuff that he loves, and he deserves your support. That's what I'm saying. And come on over to the Poindexter Lounge every once in a while and hang out with us and have some fun. And you'll see Brian there a lot of times. But I'm going to tell you right now, that guy right there deserves all the subs in the world. He deserves all the love in the world. And I didn't know that he wasn't at 200 subs yet, man. Come on. Let's get with it, guys. Let's get with it.
Definitely.
We'll get there. I'm like at 190 something.
I don't think the Fandom Menace guys would be fans of any of us, honestly.
Yeah, probably not, bro. Yeah,
no, honestly,
they love coming to my channel and hating on me, man. I get messages every day that can't even be published. Like, they tell me about what people want to do to me.
A lot of them fall in the Snyder hater category too. Like,
oh yeah. And the ones that aren't in the Snyder category hater thing are fake anyway. So
yeah, that's I know. It kind of kills me that they all get so many subs and stuff, like, because I honestly think that a lot of like any of us that are on the Snyder, like fans of Snyder, I get the feeling like we're being limited by the algorithm or something. I mean,
you know what? There's a bunch more idiots out there than there are smart people, though.
That is true. I'm
just saying.
Realization that,
yes. And we're on a platform like YouTube, and it's like just like tonight. I was in a conversation with a guy on Facebook, and I was being super nice, and all of a sudden, like we were talking about the Snake Eyes movie, and then somehow, of course, it got to the Last Jedi, and I don't know why. And like, I'm like, no. Look, I'm with you on the Snake Eyes movie, okay? Like I've said my piece on the Snake Eyes movie. But you can't compare the Snake Eyes movie to The Last Jedi. There's just and I told the guy I said, listen, I'll have a conversation with you about The Last Jedi. I said, we can have a legitimate, like real conversation about it. And he just went to the lowest common denominator. He starts regurgitating a bunch of like Doomcock BS. And I'm just like,
the usual
what are you,
tropes.
I'm like, dude, like, you're gonna tell me next that they're gonna erase the sequels too? Like, dude, come on, man. Let's just have a real conversation. He would not have a real conversation. I like, you can like whatever you like or hate whatever you like. And he's just like, no, man. He's like, that movie's trash. Ryan's trash. It eats, this and that. And I'm just like, dude, like, okay, well then I'm just gonna roast you. And so I roasted him. I said, we can have that conversation. I said, or I could just put you in your place. Because look, I will not hesitate to put a fool on his back. I'm all hard. It's funny.
I put it in the private chat.
Did you? Okay, yeah, because I was going to say, I'm not really sure how to do that. Hold on. Okay, so I can just copy this and paste it into the regular one. Right?
No, I appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah. And
heck yeah, man.
Phil, you want to?
Yeah, if you guys want to, listen to my nonsense, you can listen to Superhero Stress or The Eternal Night. You can also catch me on any of the 4 Nerds channels, so Nerd Many Ways, Seegerfat, ACS Universe, and Nicotina Show. We just wrapped up a watch party for Zack Snyder's Justice League Part 2 last night. Well, I wasn't part of the watch along, but I came in for the after show. So yeah, a lot of fun stuff coming out of the way. And of course, thanks for the invite to life. It's always fun to chat with you.
Thanks for coming. Thank all you guys for coming. This was awesome convo, man. I had a great time tonight.
Hell yeah, bro.
And of course, you guys know you can find me here on Sundays at Snyder Ave, and my music on YouTube and Spotify and Apple Music and all that good stuff. And yeah, so we'll see you next week. And thank you everybody for coming. Love y'all. Peace.
Inspired us fans so much. Got a weekend past that day, we had the hashtag up. Release the Snyder Cut, and we would not give up till we got to see the vision Warner Brothers promised us. And then we trended up, despite all the naysay, and made them notice that we were never going to go away. Kept fighting every day, and I guess that was the key. Cause now we're really going to see Zack Snyder's Justice League. Release the Snyder Cut, release the Snyder Cut. It was the Justice League, and you douchebags fucked it up. Release the Snyder Cut, release the Snyder Cut.